Part 1 of the series begins with a palace of a king. A man named Goku is taking a kid out of this palace, holding him in one hand and a sword in another hand. Because his own family wants to sacrifice this kid. Soon a few soldiers are shown coming there to stop him. Meanwhile, the man starts fighting with them while using his dragon powers. Then an old man arrives and fights with him while using his tiger powers. The fight is shown between them and the scene after some time is shown. A gorilla was going to attack a place but failed. The scene changes and a village is shown. This village is named Stone Village. A man in the village named Max is their master and trains the children. He teaches them fighting skills, believing these are important for kids to learn, so they can protect themselves and survive in this environment. Among the other kids, there was a boy named Ben Tennyson. Ben is younger than all of them, but he is talented and has learned more skills than the others. Another boy is shown named Kevin, and he is annoyed by Ben because of how powerful he is. After this, the elders of the village go to catch the rhino that throws fire from its mouth. They want to hunt it for their dinner and use its core. But a giant blue eagle arrives and catches the rhino. The rhino throws fire at the eagle, so the eagle falls down. They all try to divert the blue eagle's attention, so they could capture the rhino again. There was a lava rock rain because of a volcano eruption. The blue eagle gets scared and runs from there. The villagers return to the village, bringing the rhino. The kids appreciate their fathers for bringing them yummy meals. Ben is sitting sadly, even though the other kids are happy because of the meal. Max comes to him, and Ben asks him, "Where are my parents? When will they come?" He says they will come soon to take you, but firstly, I will show you something else. Later, everyone was worshipping a tree, believing it to be their god tree. They believe it protects their village. A pool is shown in the next scene, and herbs were mixed in it. There was also the rhino's energy core in it. They believe the bones of the kids will get stronger if they take a bath in the pool. Max asks Ben to take a bath there, but Ben says, "Can I get my favorite milk after doing this?" Max says, while smiling, "Yes, you will get it." The kids start taking a bath in the pool, and Max activates the pool with his powers. The water in the pool gets hotter and hotter. Because of the hot water, the kids come out of the pool, but Ben remains inside. Ben consumes the rhino's energy core when it comes out. As he consumes it, his body gets warm like lava. Now he has the energy to lift the pool with one hand. Max, seeing him, says his power resembles a beast of the old era. Ben asks, "Will I get my favorite milk?" Max says, "Yes." Like this, Ben gets permission to drink his favorite milk. Ben doesn't drink it, but throws it near his god tree. He says, "I don't want anything, I just want you to send my parents to me." Meanwhile, a girl arrives and tells him that her brother went to take the blue bird's egg with his friends. Hearing this, Ben asks her to tell this to Max. And he goes to them. On the other side, the kids were trying to steal the eagle's egg. The eagle sees and attacks them. Ben reaches there when it was attacking them. He asks them to leave the eagle's egg. But that girl's brother, named Kevin, says, "We will not go without taking the egg." They try to get down from its nest speedily. Meanwhile, the blue eagle cuts their rope using its power, and they fall onto the sand. They run to escape from the blue eagle, but they have the egg, so the blue eagle continues chasing them. Kevin passes the egg to Ben, as Ben had said. But the blue eagle was behind them, and Ben got on the blue eagle and held its wings. As he does this, the kids were throwing stones at the eagle. The eagle also attacks them as the kids do, and there was a fight between them. The kids run towards a forest. Meanwhile, Ben punches the stones with his powers. Due to this, a hole was made in the mountain. They go inside the cave and Ben's hand touches a secret switch. Due to it, the protective shield of the mountain gets activated. This shield that was activated by Ben was made by his ancestors. As the shield gets activated, the villagers get shocked and discover the kids are in danger. The eagle was also angry because the kids had its egg. The eagle even breaks the protective shield of the cave in its anger. It tries to go inside, but the villagers reach there to help them. Max was also among them. Seeing the kids and eagle, he understands why this eagle was chasing them. These kids have picked up the eagle's egg. He moves toward his village, taking the kids along with him. He goes to the village with them because there is the god tree in their village which protects them. Nothing can happen to them while in their village. They went to the village, and the kids were also behind them. The eagle also reaches the village while chasing them. As the eagle tries to enter the village, the god tree throws it far away, so it can protect its people. The eagle was also in anger. The egg hatches, and a cute baby eagle appears from it. Because of the hustle and bustle, the egg was broken, so the baby also died. The blue eagle becomes furious seeing this. It breaks the shield with its power. It shouts while going inside near its baby. It weeps loudly. Meanwhile, the god tree of the villagers brings its branch near the baby. It revives the baby with its magic. The eagle and Ben become happy. And the baby is also shown to have some special powers. They were happy, and the eagle also apologized to the stone village people. Then it leaves. A man in the stone village comes to Max. He says, "The trap of our dangerous mountain has been broken by someone." As Max hears this, he says, "Now the time has arrived." Later, a beast-like lion is shown. It was injured badly, and there were many beasts around it. They have injured it. Ben is shown, and Max was telling him that because the eagle left its baby in the village, you can keep it. Ben says, "Now the eagle will be with us and I will name it Windy." Max tells Ben that Windy has many energies. If you start practicing those special energies, you can get a lot of power. You can even use those powers in the future. Ben starts his practice while working hard. He works hard day and night and gets those powers. His master gets shocked seeing his increasing powers because it wasn't easy to learn those skills and to use them. When the elders of the stone village get the news of the lion beast's death, they go to take the blood of the lion beast. Max tells them its blood is valuable and we can use it for different things. They were moving and Ben followed them. He moves behind them. Except for him, another man is shown following them. They move on their way and while walking they stop and notice Ben behind them. They get shocked and start scolding Ben. "Why did you come behind us? This is a dangerous path." Ben says, "I have listened to your conversation. Max has sent you to bring Lion Beast's blood. I found it adventurous. I enjoy adventure, so I'll follow you." They say, "You see it adventurous even if this is dangerous. Leave from here." As the man asks him to leave, another man says that leaving him alone is more dangerous. It would be better for him to stay with us. They move forward, and Ben was enjoying this adventure. Moving forward, they find a dead body of a beast. One of the men says, "There are many beasts which came to take the lion beast. There was a fight between them, and a few of them are dead." They move forward and find 2 more beasts. They seem dead. But the beasts stand up and start following them. They start running and then pass by a bridge. This was a bridge of a tree, and Ben breaks the bridge with the help of his technique. The beasts fall down. Ben was also falling with them, but then escapes while holding on to a stone. They start thinking about how to bring Ben to the other side. Ben asks them to call Blue Eagle because now it is our friend. It will surely help me. Everyone went to call it after hearing it, and Ben was waiting for them. While waiting, he sees the beasts who were chasing them and fell into the ditch. They awake and start chasing Ben. Ben runs, being scared, and the beasts stop near the lion beast's body. Meanwhile, a gorilla beast arrives and ends them. It also goes to the lion beast. Another bull beast arrives. It also goes to the lion beast. The bull beast has more powers than the gorilla beast. The blue eagle arrives and leaves while lifting Ben. The lion beast, who was injured and fell, stands up immediately. It makes a shield around itself with its powers. The blue eagle tries to run from there, seeing this. But it didn't succeed. There was poison on its body. The lion beast hits the bull and gorilla beast. It ends them. It also dies with them. The shield created by it also breaks. Ben and the Blue Eagle move back to their village while holding the lion beast. When they leave and haven't reached the village, the eagle falls down because of the poison. As it falls down with Ben, a rain of arrows begins to fall on them. Part 2 begins with them trying to attack Ben once again, which we saw at the end of Part 1. Ben escapes their attack by making a shield. Ben asks them who they are and what they are doing here in the stone village. One of the men, named Potato, tells Ben they also came here to capture the lion beast. Ben says, "You have to kill me first to take the lion beast." After that, they start fighting intensely. Ben was dominating the battle against them. Potato couldn't fight against Ben and apologized to him. He says, "The god of my village sent me to get this beast. I can't fight against you. Please forgive me, I will be leaving from here." Ben says okay and goes back towards the Blue Eagle. Getting a chance, Potato starts shooting arrows at Ben from behind. Ben somehow escapes the arrows, but Potato starts targeting the Blue Eagle. Later, Ben saves the Blue Eagle by making a shield around it. Potato couldn't defeat Ben, so he throws huge arrows using his special technique. It was difficult for Ben to escape from the huge arrows, but somehow he managed. A fight starts again between them, and the Blue Eagle also gets injured. Ben becomes furious seeing his Blue Eagle injured. He ends Potato's life using his special technique. The elders of Ben's village sense there must be a problem from that location and rush towards the location to save Ben. But Ben already ended Potato's life with his special technique. As Potato dies, his protecting spirit, named Morbius, arrives there. The spirit was furious because of Potato's death. Their leader asks Ben to leave. But Ben ignores their order and stays with him. Some villagers protect the eagle, while others try attacking Morbius. Morbius has godlike power, so it was more powerful than the villagers, and the people couldn't end it. Morbius uses its power to attack the villagers. But Ben saves them by making a shield. Everyone is amazed that a small kid like Ben is stopping God Spirit's powers. The God Spirit is also shocked by Ben's powers. But it knows Ben can't escape from it for too long at any cost. Then Ben calls the stone village's god. Then the spirit of the stone village arrives there and ends Morbius. Later, the villagers thank their god tree spirit for saving them from Morbius. The spirit advises them to live their life carefully, saying, "There will be a huge problem." Max asks, "Can you tell me what the problem will be?" The tree god spirit replies, "I can't tell you about this now." Ben is worried, seeing him. God Spirit says, "Potato was an evil human. That's why ending him isn't a sin." Ben says, "I am not sad for ending his life, but sad because his parents will be sad when they discover Potato is dead because I killed him. And I don't even know about my parents. Can you tell me who they are? When will they come to meet me?" The spirit becomes silent upon hearing this and doesn't say anything to him. Ben becomes worried, saying, "None answers my question." Max tells Ben, "Your parents will definitely come. But right now, you have to pay attention to your training and become much stronger." We also get to know that these beasts used to rule the world, but some time later people started consuming the beast's energy to become powerful and able to defend themselves from wild beasts. After this, the story skips to some years later. At present, Max says to Ben, "Today is the first day of your cultivation. First, you have to make your body pure. After that, you will have to consume the lion beast's energy. This isn't as simple as you think, it can also take your life. Are you ready for all this?" Ben claims, "I will go to any length to meet my parents." Then he jumps into the purification pool. Next, Ben is shown purifying himself in the medical furnace. Later, Max, Stone Village people, and Windy are shown too, who have grown compared to before. Max tells everyone that if Ben continues this process and consumes the lion beast's energy, he will be able to reach the secret treasure and we can learn many things about it. Later, a bird beast and a huge monkey beast are shown. They are attacking each other to get the mountain treasure. A massive stone appears from the ground. This is the mountain treasure they were battling for. They start attacking each other. Meanwhile, the volcano gets activated, and there is fire everywhere. One of the beasts starts causing more destruction so that everything will be finished, ensuring no one will know about the mountain treasure. The lava increases and begins to reach other villages. The god spirit activates a teleportation system and asks everyone to come inside. Max discovers this and tells everyone to leave but stays behind to protect Ben. Ben is in the purification process, and they can't disturb him. Max, with Windy, protects Ben. Ben gives his best and consumes the lion beast's energy. As he does, the lava spreads, and huge stones start to fall around him. While leaving from there, he sees their village's medical furnace there, but Max asks him to leave it. But Ben ignores Max's words because that furnace, though heavy, was valuable for his village. He gives it to Windy. They move toward the portal activated by their god. There are many rocks blocking their way, but they somehow escape and reach the portal. The next morning, they find themselves in a new village. This becomes their new stone village. It was very beautiful, and they thanked God for saving and giving them a new place to live. Max tells them, "Our ancestors were born in the previous village. Our connection with them has now been severed." One of the men says, "This is our new village. We will call it the New Stone Village and live here peacefully from now onwards." Max agrees but says, "Now one of you has to go to the old village to examine the situation there." Ben volunteers, saying, "I will go back." Max asks, "Why do you want to go back?" Ben replies, "Maybe my parents will come to the village to see me. How will they know where I am? So I want to leave a mark for them." Max initially refuses, but Ben's persistence makes him agree. Ben and Windy go to the old village. Seeing the destruction, Ben becomes sad but controls himself. He leaves a mark on a stone for his parents. He notices an injured monkey, which turns out to be the monkey that was fighting with the bird beast for the treasure. The monkey is cute and small, and Ben names it King Kong. He declares, "From now on, it will be with me." A girl arrives and tells Ben, "This King Kong is a beast." The girl revealed her name as Julie and goes near Ben. She tells Ben, "That monkey is one of 4 supreme beasts. This beast was fighting with a bird beast for mountain treasure. And your village got destroyed because of them only, so give that beast to me." Ben refuses to give the little monkey to her. Julie says, "You don't know who I am." But Ben ignores her and tries to leave. Julie, seeing Ben ignoring her, says, "I will give you a bag filled with a lot of gold and pearls in return." Ben replies, "But I don't need them. If this is the beast due to which our village was destroyed, I want to make it my pet and take it to my new village to make it fine." Hearing this, Julie becomes furious and attacks Ben. While escaping from her attacks, Ben tries to move from there. Julie gets worried that she is losing to a village boy. Later, Ben does a special attack on her. He says, "You are a foolish girl and can't take this little beast from me." Julie starts crying, realizing she is not winning even against a village boy. Ben calms her down. Meanwhile, a royal guard arrives and tells Julie that her father is calling her. Julie says, "Can't my father leave me alone?" The warrior tells her that your father adores you a lot, and then Julie departs, saying goodbye to Ben. Ben returns to his village while taking King Kong. He shows it to their tree god, and the tree spirit uses its power to heal it and says, "Take much care of it. Its treatment is difficult, but try not to make it remember its past. There will be a huge problem for your village if it remembers the past." Max says, "This is your new village," and sends them to explore the surroundings and observe it. Max sees Ben, who is depressed and sad for his parents. Max wants to divert Ben's attention and gives him a treasure stone. Max says, "There is the power of an old lion from the old era in it." Ben replies, "Don't divert my attention. Just tell me whether my parents will come or not." He was worried about them. Tree God Spirit tells him, "Your parents are facing trouble. Their memories are inside you. If you want to know about them, you have to lift a medical furnace. Tree God Spirit shows him the furnace and says, when you are at the final stage of level 1 of cultivation, you can lift it. If you lift it, you will regain your memory. Max, shocked, says, this medical furnace is 100,000 kgs. The people of the final level of cultivation can only lift 50,000 kgs. This is not possible for Ben to do. But the Tree God Spirit insists, if he wants his memories, he must go through this. Ben, determined to learn about his parents, agrees. He tries hard to lift the medical furnace. Despite many attempts, he cannot lift it. He starts his training and commits himself fully. Meanwhile, he tries to tame a unicorn, and several years have passed, and we see grown Ben riding the tamed unicorn. The unicorn, which Ben wants as his pet, becomes his pet now. Part 3 continues with Ben continuing his training and finally lifts the medical furnace, then he reaches the final stage of level 1 of cultivation. As he lifts it, he remembers the palace which we saw in part 1. He recovers his memories from the past. We are shown a few years ago, Ben's grandfather, while doing a purification process, went into the mountains and never returned. So Ben's parents went searching for him, leaving Ben in the care of his aunt. Ben's aunt's son, who has a special eye, tells her that Ben has a special bone in him, which is rare and makes people so powerful. Shocked, Ben's aunt forbids her son to tell anyone. One day, Ben's aunt, with wrong intentions, takes him to a secret room along with another man. She ties Ben and starts to extract the bone from him, and transfer it to her son. Ben feels severe pain while transferring the bone because he was conscious while the process was going on. Yaya, a girl from Ben's clan, sees this and panics. She goes to Ben's other grandfather to inform him. Ben's grandfather intervenes and confronts Ben's aunt. When he was about to punish her, Vilgax, her son, threatens to harm himself if his mother is hurt. The case is taken to the elders of the family. Ben's grandfather requests them to return Ben's bone to him back, but Loki, Vilgax's father, says transferring it back will put Ben's life at risk. Then elders decide that Ben's bone will be returned to him in 10 years if he manages to survive. Ben's parents, searching for Ben's grandfather in the mountains, are informed of what happened to Ben. Meanwhile, Loki was gathering warriors, searching for Yaya and Ben, intending to harm them to keep the bone in their clan. Yaya, returning baby Ben to his parents, who turned like this because of transferring his special bone to Vilgax, explains everything to them. Angered, Ben's father decides to take revenge. It connects to the starting scene in part 1, where Ben's father, carrying Ben, fights the soldiers to get justice for his son. Despite Loki asking him to stop, his father's fury continues. He tries to kill Ben's aunt but is stopped by their supreme ancestor. Because Goku was not stopping, their ancestor increases Vilgax's powers and attacks them, but Ben's father uses his dragon powers in return to defend them from it. In the next scene, we see Ben has remembered many things. Ben asks Max, "What happened to my parents?" Max tells him, while escaping from the attack somehow, they came to the Stone Village, which was their ancestors' village. They came here so that Tree God Spirit can heal you a bit. They didn't want to take any risk because Loki's soldiers were still behind them. That's why they moved to another village while leaving you with us. Ben says, "I also want to go to my parents." Max says, "That place is too far, and you can't go there." Ben didn't listen to him and was worried. He says, "I will go there and will meet my parents." Max gives him a shining stone and tells him the tree god and this stone came from the sky once. The tree god spirit tells him there is a special technique in this stone. You will be able to learn that as time passes. No matter even if that supreme bone isn't in your body, do remember there is time for everything to regrow. Ben realizes that the supreme bone is regrowing in him. Later, he leaves with King Kong and Unicorn. Meanwhile, a white tiger attacks them on the way. This white tiger was already injured, and Ben kills it to save himself. Meanwhile, Julie arrives. She was furious. She asks Ben why he killed this tiger. "This was my prey." Seeing King Kong with Ben, she understands this is the kid named Ben whom she met a few years ago. Ben recognizes her and remarks, "You're a lot fatter than you used to be." Julie gets irritated hearing this and attacks him, but suddenly a dragon attacks them. Ben runs along, taking Julie with him. Then Julie says while leaving her hand from his hand, "I can end it easily." Later, she attacks the dragon. But her attack doesn't affect the dragon. Ben says, "Now I have to use my technique." He uses the technique of the lion beast and ends the dragon. But he faints immediately because so much energy was needed to use this technique. When he awakes, Julie asks him to eat the egg. Ben refuses to eat it. Julie questions, "Why? Why are you refusing to eat it?" Ben claims, "I won't eat eggs because I promised Wendy I wouldn't." Julie asks, "Who is Wendy?" Ben says, to irritate her, that it is a secret. Julie gets annoyed with it and comes to Ben and forces him to eat it. Ben, while avoiding it, throws away. Meanwhile, King Kong informs Ben that Julie worked hard to bring this egg. "You should eat it," using his gestures. Hearing this, Ben eats the egg. He also manages to cool off Julie because she is upset with him. King Kong and Unicorn are shown playing together. Later we see the eggshell from which Ben ate, starts shining. Meanwhile, the bird arrives whose egg was taken by Julie. They run from there as they see the bird. They fall into a stream and pass out. As soon as Ben comes to his senses back, he brings them out. During this, a girl named Krista was watching them. Ben wants to wake Julie. He uses his power along with King Kong's help to wake Julie. Julie slaps Ben as she awakes because she felt Ben was touching her inappropriately and leaves angrily. The next morning, when Julie was leaving with her servants, she misses Ben. She realizes her mistake. Ben also misses Julie, but he diverts his attention and moves forward. But then suddenly Krista and her companions attack Ben, but he also counterattacks them. Ben wins because he has many powers. She gets impressed by Ben and says, "We have attacked you not to harm you, but we just wanted to check your power, because we have a group of powerful people. We fight for each other's sake. And we want you to be included in our group." Ben says, "No, I can't join your group because I have to leave for some mission." He leaves from there. After traveling for a long time, the village arrives. It was their ancestors' another village where his parents would be. Meanwhile, he notices a boy bullied by two other people. The boy was taking medicine for his old man, but they stopped him. They were not letting him go forward. Ben becomes furious, and makes them leave him. Meanwhile, a crow was watching all of this, informs this to two people who belong to Loki's clan. Then they decide to kill Ben. Meanwhile, the boy gives medicine to the old man. Ben recognizes that old man was none other than his grandfather. He says to his grandfather, "You don't need to be worried anymore. Now I am here, none can problem you." His grandfather recognizes him and says, "Loki's servants tease us every day. They even break one of Roy's legs too. Now you have arrived, so nothing will happen to us." Hearing this, Ben becomes furious but then controls his anger and bows down. Then he asks, "Where are my parents now? Can I meet them?" to his grandfather. His grandfather tells him, "Your parents went to a mountain which was very dangerous. They went there to bring the medicine needed for you to get fine, but they didn't return." Ben says, "I want to take you both back to the stone village." While he was talking, two men from Loki's clan arrive. They try to kill Ben. But Ben was much stronger than before and defeats them all. And then the lady arrives and attacks Ben. She ends Ben's grandfather's life with a single attack. As his grandfather dies, Ben becomes angry, and he ends them all using his lion beast technique. Then he takes Roy to the stone village back with him. He was sad because today he couldn't save his grandfather. As he reaches the stone village, he discovers some people have attacked their village at night. Most of the people were injured because of it. Part 4 begins with Ben's elders telling him that some robbers have attacked them last night. They came to steal their stuff and food. Max tried to fight them, But the robbers' leader was too strong and defeated Max. He took Max and the villagers' stuff. Now, they demand that we hand over our village's 2 special treasures to them. And if we don't, then they will kill Max. Ben asks where you were all when this happened. They tell him that they were out hunting. And the tree god's spirit was also sleeping, since you left. Nobody was here to protect the village. Ben says, I'm going with you to rescue Max from those robbers. But one of them says, you can't come with us. You need to go and hide in the cave with others. We'll go fight them. Their boss is super strong, like a heavenly level, and you're only at the blood transformation level. You won't be able to fight them. Ben answers, you guys haven't gotten stronger either, so you can't fight them either. I'm going with you. But they say, no, you're going to the cave. No matter what, it's our duty to fight and protect our village. They didn't agree with Ben and left him behind. Ben decides he needs to get stronger. Because he wants to save Max. In the next scene, the robbers are shown teasing Max. Max believes someone will definitely come to save him. Ben is shown trying to increase his power level. He gets to the heavenly level by following the tree god spirit's instructions. Then he gets ready to fight the robbers. Later, the robbers are shown relaxing and having a good time. Meanwhile, the village elders silently sneak up and attack the robbers. They were beating them one by one, then their boss saw them. And one of the elders attacks the robbers' boss. But he was so powerful, his energy was overwhelming, and he easily fought them off. He yells, all of you are going to die today. Ben arrives, and the robber's boss says, seeing him, kid, what are you doing here? Get lost. Ben says, today, you're not getting away from me. The robber boss starts laughing and sends his guys to attack Ben. They attacked Ben, but Ben dodged all their attacks and defeated them all. Then their boss uses his heavenly technique to try and defeat Ben. But Ben also had his own heavenly technique, so he uses that too. Using his move, he hits the boss hard. The boss gets thrown far away because Ben's power was stronger. The boss gets mad and turns into a beast. His master gave him this beast form. They keep fighting, and the robber boss uses a shield to cover himself and attacks Ben. Ben uses his blue bird technique to fight him back. But the boss uses his most powerful special technique, and Ben also uses his special technique too. That was his lion beast technique. He kills the robber's boss with this move. Ben passes out right after he defeats him. Because using that move took a lot of energy. The villagers brought him back to their village. They have a big celebration together. Max was proud of Ben and made him the village protector. Scene shifts some time later to Ben, Roy, and Unicorn shown wandering around. Meanwhile, a kid shows up and tells him that the tree god spirit has woken up. They were all happy, and Ben went to the god tree. He asks the tree god spirit for directions to the dangerous mountain where his parents went. I want to go there too. I want to bring my parents back. The tree god spirit says, you can't go there because there are powerful beasts living in that mountain. You can't fight them. Ben says, maybe you don't know, but I've gotten a lot stronger. You didn't know that? The tree god spirit says, I know. But even with your new powers, you're nothing compared to the beasts you'll encounter there. Ben gets worried, and the tree god spirit opens a portal and takes his spirit. He sends him to another world, saying, we gods made this special world. You'll train here, and later your soul will be sent back to your body. By doing this, your cultivation level will increase significantly. Ben agrees after hearing that. He goes to this different world, and he sees a lot of other souls around him. They were there for training too, and he finds some treasure bones on the ground, which can make him stronger. Ben tries to grab one but can't. The old guys standing near him say, we'll give you a lot of money if you give us that bone. Ben doesn't know what money is, because they didn't use money in his village. He didn't understand what they were talking about. The old guys tell him, you can get those bones if you break any records here. Ben thinks that he'll break the speed record and runs around in circles super fast. Then, he punches the ground really hard. It makes treasure bones come out of the ground. There were a lot of treasure bones, but others stole them. While Ben only got one, and the others are shocked to see Ben. They're surprised that a kid broke a record. Later, a giant stone comes out of the ground. The names of the record holders are written on the stone and names of the people who broke records. It asks Ben to write his name, but he accidentally writes Animal Milk. Everyone starts laughing. One of the men says, "This kid is strong, but he can't beat Vilgax." Ben gets mad because Vilgax is his cousin. He says, "I'll beat him and the 10-headed dragon too." They say, "If you can beat him, you need to jump over the volcano in one jump." They say it'll show if you can beat Vilgax or not. Because Vilgax did it in one jump. Ben says, "Okay, I'll do it." Ben goes to jump over the volcano. Some people show up and ask for the treasure bone. Ben refuses to give it, so they start attacking Ben. Ben defeats them easily. When they see Ben isn't losing, their leader starts attacking Ben. Ben was able to easily dodge his attacks because he was very fast. Then the leader does a special attack on Ben. Ben defeats him with his powers and takes his feather technique from him. The giant stone shows up again and announces that a kid named Animal Milk broke a record. And now he's about to break the record of jumping over the volcano. The people around are shocked seeing that. During this, a group of women shows up. They run a training school. Their leader says, "If you do this, I'll give you free admission in my school." Ben gets ready to jump. He uses his powers to jump over the volcano in one go. Everyone was amazed. The lady says to Ben, "I'm ready to give you free admission to my school." But there was another group, asking him to join them. But Ben doesn't care about that. He just wants the treasure bone which can make him stronger. But he wasn't given the stone, so he gets angry and punches the giant stone. Because of that, he was banned and told he can't come back to this world for 2 years. And sent back to his world. Later, Ben is shown thinking near a stream. Roy comes to him and asks him, "Why are you worried?" Ben says, "I have to increase my cultivation level and become stronger so that I can meet my parents. For that, I need to join a training institute." Roy says, "Yes, I will also join the institute with you to increase my level too." They go to Max and inform him that they want to join a training school. Max says, "Yes, you can join any training school, but take care of yourself. Don't forget you can return anytime." They start their journey and meet many beasts on their way. But Ben was ending the beasts gradually and increasing his level. Roy also ends them and consumes their energy core of the beasts. He also reaches the blood transformation level. While walking, they reach the Ladies' Training Institute. Ben changed his getup because of breaking many records. Everyone knows him. Everyone knows him as the Animal Milk Boy. That's why he changed his getup. Later a man is shown informing another person that Animal Milk Boy has broken many records, and resembles Goku. Upon listening to this, that person asks him to find that kid. Ben is shown taking the admission token out given to him by that lady. He gave it to his Roy because there will be tests for taking admission, and Ben thinks Roy may fail. So, he gives the token to Roy. Roy gives the token to the admission in charge. Meanwhile, the lady who is in charge of admissions comes to see the tests. Everyone was told if you want to get admission, you have to cross 2 exams. After that, you will be given admission. Their test starts, and huge energy spheres form in the air. They start attacking them, and Ben is escaping from the energy easily. Meanwhile, he sees the ground and finds something similar to the otherworld's ground. There was a treasured bone, and he understands that we need to collect those treasure bones to pass the test. He asked the King Kong to find the bone and was escaping from the energy blasts. King Kong discovers the treasure bone, and Ben punches the ground as a result of it, causing it to come out, and he takes it. Ben thinks there will be many other treasure bones for other candidates. And he collects everyone's treasure bone in the test. Part 5 begins with everyone passing the exam because Ben took all the treasure bones. As the examiner in charge sees this, he plans to fail them. And for the second exam, a huge stone again appears, and they were told it is their second exam, and if they want to pass, they need to have 2 gemstones, and one was given to them at that time. They start to get another gemstone from others. Meanwhile, a huge lizard beast attacks Ben. Ben was escaping from it, but it was powerful and hit Ben. Ben flies away. While he flies in the air, his gemstone falls down from his pocket. Meanwhile, another boy arrives and takes his gemstone. The lizard beast attacks that boy as well. Due to this, the gem bone fell down on the ground again. Meanwhile, another huge black panther beast arrives. That boy and the lizard run from there, seeing it. The black panther beast roars at Ben. Then Ben thinks, this panther beast will definitely end his life, but it leaves after frightening the lizard beast. Ben follows it and reaches a cave after it. He observed a black lotus here which was very good for increasing his cultivation level. Now Ben decides to grab it. Meanwhile the panther beast wakes up, seeing it, Ben runs from there. Later, he starts to think, sitting under a tree. How can he grab this black lotus? And gets an idea, he starts hitting a giant bird beast with huge stones. And the bird beast begins to chase after Ben. Ben also disturbs several other beasts in the way. And those other beasts also start chasing him. Now all were after Ben. Ben takes them all to the cave, where the panther beast was resting. When this panther beast sees all of them, then it becomes very aggressive because they have disturbed its sleep. And it begins to roar. When panther beast starts the roars, all the beasts begin to run, afraid of it. While the panther beast was returning to its cave, Ben attacked it from its backside. And the panther beast misunderstands that all those beasts have attacked it together. And it begins to run after them. Getting the opportunity, Ben moves inside the cave and grabs that black lotus. He immediately starts eating it. Due to this, his body gets heated up. So he jumps into the water to cool his body. And starts meditation here. As a result, his blood transformation level has increased to 6. Now he decides to take another gemstone from others as his blood transformation level has increased. On the other side, that boy is shown who tried to take Ben's gemstone. Now he was trying to snatch the gemstone of another boy. Then Ben appears here and makes him unconscious. And he takes his gem from him. Another boy who was with him earlier, Ben returns back his gemstone to him. Then that boy shows gratitude to Ben and thanks him, and he also tells that his name is Chris. Ben tells him his fake name as Shadow. Chris then tells him about the animal milk boy, who is very dangerous. And I think that he will come to snatch your gem from you too. So be careful. After that, Ben sees a stone here, where the result of past students will be shown. On the other side, Maria is shown with admission in charge named Liam. He was telling her about the animal milk boy may be around this area. And we will surely capture him. Later, they both move towards the result stone. But they are left shocked as they see it, because someone had drawn doodles on it. Seeing this, Liam loses his temper. Liam understands this. It has been done by Animal Milk Boy. Then Maria says to him that perhaps he is not interested in the stone, so he did so. After this, that boy who was made unconscious by Ben comes back to his senses. Liam thinks that he is Animal Milk Boy, so he grabs his throat, thinking that he is one who has drawn them on that stone. Meanwhile, Maria says to him, he is not the Animal Milk Boy. Leave him. You are taking the wrong person. Now the boy understands, who hit him and made him lose his consciousness was actually Animal Milk Boy. Then Liam's junior comes to him and tells that Black Lotus has been stolen. Hearing this, Liam goes into rage, because he saved that Black Lotus for himself to increase his cultivation level. He becomes so furious and asks, who stole this despite the presence of the Beast Panther? But he already knows that it was also committed by Animal Milk only. Then he tells his junior to search out this kid whoever has stolen the Black Lotus. After this, Liam is shown congratulating the past students. and advising them to respect their ancestors who protect and guide them. After this, he says to them, "I know that boy named Animal Milk Boy is among you. And he is the one who did it to the stone and disrespecting them. So someone informs me about that Animal Milk Boy. I will award him with private training from me." Hearing this, all the kids get excited. And they begin to plan to search for the Animal Milk Boy. Later, Ben is shown who came back to his real appearance. Because Maria was not here anymore, who could recognize him. And all other people left too who could recognize him. Ben was thinking about Vilgax because some students were talking about him. And Vilgax has also joined in that institution. Knowing this news, Ben gets furious. Then he notices a man climbing the mountain. He starts following him. Then he reaches near a gate where he sees a shield inside the gate protecting something. And Ben enters that door and breaks the shield. He finds a tree god. This god was just like their tree god but sick. Then Ben says to this tree god, "Don't be upset. Have rest. And you will be alright soon." Then he sees light coming from that god's spirit and Ben begins to meditate, sitting under it. Because he thought it was the best place for meditation. And increase his cultivation level here. And his cultivation level soon begins to increase. Now Ben starts thinking, how can he use the treasure bone given by Max? He thinks a lot but doesn't understand anything. Meanwhile, Tree God's spirit gives a clue to him. Understanding that clue, Ben quickly uses that treasure bone. And his cultivation level has also increased due to it. He thanks him and starts leaving. Then suddenly, a ghost appears here. A sword was stabbed into his head. And he was saying, "Ben, to return my sword." Seeing this, Ben gets scared. Then he notices the stabbed sword in his head and thinks, how can I give him the sword that is already stabbed into his head? Both Ben and the King Kong were so scared, seeing this ghost. Somehow, Ben escapes with the King Kong from here. Next day, while he was practicing, the same ghost comes and start asking him to return my sword back. It is happening daily now. And Ben becomes so irritated by this ghost. And then next day, some kids were shown teasing Roy. So Ben tries to get to him and teach them a lesson. But the ghost comes again. And starts asking for its sword from him again and again. Then Ben starts running and he dashes with Liam while running. He reveals everything to him about how a ghost is after him. A sword is stabbed into his head. And it asks its sword, coming to me again and again. Seeing the ghost, Liam also gets scared. Later Liam takes him to headmaster of the institute, accompanying Ben. Going there, he reveals the whole truth to him. But the headmaster Lee recognizes Ben and realizes that he is only the Animal Milk Boy. Lee says to Ben, "You are Animal Milk Boy. I have recognized you," but Ben declines to accept this. Lee tells him, there are only a few students who are at the level of 6 of blood transformation. And it is not a child's play to reach this level this soon. Hearing this, Liam gets furious because he had understood that his Black Lotus was stolen by him and he is the Animal Milk Boy. When he gets furious, then Lee says to Liam, "Forget all those things, they cannot be taken back." Hearing this, Ben tells Lee that there is a ghost which is after me. And he is asking for a sword from me. And I don't know why it is after me. Then Lee tells him that the sword which is stabbed into his head is not his sword, but his enemy's. He is asking for his real sword from you. It will be found on the Baidu mountain, and that ghost is seen by good kids every few years and asks them to help him to take back his sword. But Ben declines to bring his sword back. But Lee tells him that we have sent Vilgax for another mission. And you are powerful enough to bring that sword back, right now. So Ben agrees to bring that sword back. Lee advises him, you need more cultivation power. So you will go and meet my friend, who will teach you new techniques. With this, your cultivation level will increase greatly. Part 6 continues with Lee telling, my friend's name is Jane, he will train you. The next day, Ben goes to meet Lee's friend. He was meditating, while sitting under a tree. Ben waits for a long time, but he didn't open his eyes. So Ben gets bored, and he asks him, "When will you teach me to increase my cultivation level?" Jane gets disrupted and opens his eyes, and instructs him, "Water my garden first. After that, I will teach you." Then Ben goes to that garden and begins watering the garden, using his power. But all the medicinal plants in that garden are spoiled because of that. Due to this, Jane gets angry and shouts at him. After this, Ben is shown with Roy. Roy's face was wounded. Ben asks him, "How did you get that wound?" He tells him that, "While I was practicing, I fell down. Then, I got this wound." After this, Ben says to King Kong, "Give me those herbs." At first, King Kong does not agree, but later he gives him those herbs. Roy uses those herbs and his wounds are properly recovered now. Then Ben forbids King Kong to steal anything from Jane's garden again. The next day, when Ben goes to the garden and sees King Kong is chained. Then Jane tells him he was chained for stealing the herbs from this garden. And it's his punishment? Ben says to Jane to let him go. He will not act like this in future. After that, Jane lets him go. And he says to Ben, keep it secret about him. Because if anyone knows that he is a legendary beast, it will be risky for both of you. Then Ben goes near King Kong. He tells him that some kids are bullying Roy, who was going to take the exam, through gestures. Hearing this, Ben becomes very furious and begins to leave to help him. But Jane stops him and says, "Don't go anywhere because I will teach you a special technique." But Ben insists on going and begins to move. But Jane chains him using his technique. Later Roy is shown, who was going to take his exams. Few kids surround him, preventing him from taking exam because if he does not take it, then he will be expelled from the school. So they are wasting his time here so that he don't take the exam and expel from the institution. But Roy had to take this exam at any cost. He tries to go, then those kids start beating Roy. Then Ben is shown again, getting electric shocks. Jane was giving those electric shocks to him and it was a part of his training so he could become stronger. When this is over, then Ben asks Jane, "May I go to save Roy now?" Then Jane forbids him, saying, "You cannot go." Then Jane says to him that the basic of your training starts now. He gives him a lighting spoon and says, "You have to gather lighting in this spoon. After collecting that lighting, you will have to pour it into a thunder plant. You will have to do it very carefully because you can also get electric shocks in this process." Ben begins to do the task, in which he was also getting electric shocks. Then he realizes that this trial will consume a lot of time. In this way, I will be unable to guard Royda. Then he says to Jane, "I don't want to learn everything. I am leaving. I don't want to do this." Then Jane says to him that, "You will have to carry this out." Ben refuses. Then Jane says to him, "Many stones are being placed in the surroundings where you are standing. They will prevent you from leaving. If you are willing to go out of this place, you will have to complete this. You cannot cross this place without completing this work." Now Ben starts to pour that lighting on that plant after struggling to gather it. But he was also worried about Roy. Then a thunderstorm begins to fall on Ben. But Jane rescues him and says to him, "You are so stupid. You haven't learned yet?" Hearing this, Ben becomes aggressive and starts collecting all the lighting and pouring it on that thunder plant. He tries to pour all the lighting on that plant, using his lion beast technique. But he collects the lighting in excess, which falls on Ben and that plant. Due to that, the area gets completely destroyed. Seeing this, Jane gets rage and says to Ben, "Nothing can happen now. You have destroyed the plant." Meanwhile, a golden ray appears from the sky. Jane tells Ben, it is a special thunder which can destroy anything in one strike. Ben says, "Let's leave from there," but Jane refuses to let him move and says to him that, "We will move inside this." After this, Jane flies into the air, taking Ben along with him. And he fixes a spell tag on him and tells Ben that it will attract the lighting, and you will collect the thunder? But Ben tells, "I will use my lion beast technique and attract all the lighting, and send it to you and you collect the thunder? And they both do as he said. Ben attracts all lighting, using his lion beast technique. And Jane gathers the thunder, taking it out from here. He gives the collected thunder potion to Ben and says, "Drink it." After drinking it, Ben begins to meditate and learns the lighting skill. Meanwhile, Lee comes there and tells him, the tree god is going to die soon. He also tells him, we will have to use the fountain of immortality to save the tree god. When Ben asks its location then, he reveals it. We can find it in Baidu Mountain. Ben tells him, I will surely help the tree god, because he had helped me in my difficult time. Then Lee tells him that Jane has arranged a partner for you, with whom you will go to Baidu Mountain. After that, Ben goes to the students who were teasing Roy, and starts fighting with them. Then Liam's Jr. comes here. His name was Finn. He stops them and sends them away. Later he says to Ben, you should not fight with him. He can get hurt. Then Ben tells him that those were teasing Roy for a long time, and it was necessary to teach them a lesson. And at the same time, Roy comes here and tells him, when those boys were blocking my way so that I wouldn't take my exams, Finn arrived here and helped me. He saved me from those boys, and I have taken my exam. I have also cleared it successfully. After that, Liam, Finn, and Ben are shown moving to Baidu Mountain. We see Ben, Liam, and Finn are heading towards the Beijuan Mountains. The Beijuan Mountain portal opens at a specific time, and it was not open yet. So, they stayed in the city of Duankong during that time. Later on, we see Vilgax's clan people who were ordered to kill Ben because they were afraid that Ben's supreme bone will regrow again. One of them sends a bird to track Ben's location. Later, we see Finn, Ben, and Liam wandering around the Duankong market. Later, Ben sees several beasts and comments on how delicious they would be to eat, because he was hungry. They notice a golden beast on which a girl was riding. While seeing this, Liam informs Ben that a pureblood beast from the Taigu Mountains could only make a golden beast their servant. When Ben sees this, it reminded him of his parents, who visited Taigu Mountain. Later, to keep himself busy, he takes Finn to the market for a visit. There, Finn gives him a biscuit which he dislikes at first. But after starting to eat it, he realized how tasty it was. Meanwhile, a bird steals Ben's biscuit. This was the same bird that the girl sent to track him. Ben was hungry and had hardly got anything to eat, and that was also stolen by that bird. So he gets furious and starts chasing the bird. While chasing, he hits a cart driven by a white tiger and his servants. After seeing the tiger, Ben comments on how delicious this tiger would be. When the tiger hears this, he becomes furious and orders his servant to kill Ben. His servant was about to kill Ben, but suddenly, Finn arrived. He apologizes to the white tiger and requests their servants to stop. But he again says, I'll eat it, at any cost. The servant starts attacking him again after hearing that, but Liam arrives in the meanwhile. He claims there is nothing to argue over, excuse him, he is immature. But, before leaving, the white tiger tells Ben that, I'll see you in the Beijuan Mountains. After a short time, Beijuan Mountains portal opens. All the beasts rush to the spot. But Ben was on his way to buy some materials at the moment, so he couldn't get there in time, and the portal was about to close. But Liam uses his powers and throws Finn and Ben into the portal before it closes. There were many monsters fighting among themselves. Meanwhile, a beast tries to attack them. But Ben and Finn battle and defeat it easily. Ben sees a bird and gets hungry, so he starts chasing it with a huge stone, so that he can kill it and eat it. Later, we are shown that they are having their meal. Later, as they travel further, Finn asks Ben if he has ever seen the animal Milk Boy. Once he beat me and made me unconscious. Ben claims that he doesn't know him. Meanwhile, a beast comes there and tells them that the nine-headed lion has called them. But Finn and Ben decline. So the beast starts attacking them. But Ben uses his lion beast technique to counterattack him. But the beast saves itself from him. Later, Ben uses his treasure bone technique to strike him. It was the same attack he had used on Finn. The beast died as a result of this. But Finn finds out that he is the animal milk boy. He gets sad and calls him a liar and leaves from here. Then we see Julie here, and Ben, after seeing her, becomes happy. Part 7 begins with Ben being happy after seeing Julie. He says, "You've grown fatter than before," and hits her, on her back. She gets angry and attacks Ben after hearing this. Ben escapes Julie's every attack, somehow. And later, shows her the dead beast's body. He tells Julie that if this body can be of any use to her, she can keep it. Julie takes that and hands him a medicine bottle. But Ben says, "I have many similar bottles, and I don't need this." She later gives him a feather that her master gave to her. Julie's guards tell her that she is giving Ben an expensive gift while she was giving him that feather. And when your father learns about it, he will be upset? But Julie tells them that she has given him it already and cannot take it back. Later, she inquires if he is the animal milk boy, to which he responds, "Yes, but how do you know?" Julie tells her, "You were famous everywhere now, and I also knew you loved animal milk. That's why I guessed." Ben says, "You're quite smart." Then Julie asks him why he came to the Beijuan Mountains. For that, Ben replies, "I've come to take a sword, but I'm not sure about its exact location." Julie invites him to join them because she, too, is unsure about where to go. Later, we see the people who came to kill Ben move forward while defeating the beasts in their way. Julie is shown again, who was using a map to find the location of the divine cave. Ben then asks her to lend the map to him. Julie says, "I won't give you this until they reach the divine cave's location. When I get there, I'll hand it to you." Then Ben asks about her guards. "And why are they following you around?" Julie explains that, "I am a princess, and my father sent them to protect me. He always sends them along with me, because he is quite possessive of me." Later, a 9-headed lion appears in front of Julie and Ben. Along with him, Rojo, a friend of the 9-headed lion, arrives here. When Ben sees the 9-headed lion, he comments on, "How delicious would it be to taste?" When the 9-headed lion hears this, he gets angry, and his friend Rojo starts attacking Ben. And Ben also counterattacks him, and in the end, Rojo gets defeated and runs like a scaredy cat. After noticing his friend run away, then the 9-headed lion starts attacking Ben. Julie's guards tell her to go inside the divine cave. They don't necessarily have to fight with it, and they have come here for another mission. Julie then enters the divine cave, while Ben was fighting with 9-headed lion. Ben was beating the 9-headed lion hard, but then the 9-headed lion uses his head technique to imprison Ben. He captures Ben, but Ben quickly escapes from it. Then the 9-headed lion goes into rage and uses all his techniques, but Ben easily defends them all. When the 9-headed lion sees Ben's abilities, he starts running. Then Ben attacks it and separates one of his heads using his technique and eats it. After that he starts to meditate, because his head contains strong cultivation power. His blood transformation level reaches 7 during meditation. Meanwhile, he starts hearing sounds coming from the divine cave, and assumes Julie is in danger. He rushes through the cave to help Julie. Then we see the 9-headed lion, whose one head was eaten by Ben, now it is 8-headed lion, in the cave. Ben then helps the 8-headed lion, who is chased by a pack of wolves. Julie and her guards were also running away from those wolves. Then Ben tells them to go outside, and he stays behind to prevent those wolves from attacking them. When those wolves notice this, they chase Ben, but Julie and her guards have safely escaped from the cave. Meanwhile, we see wolves start attacking Ben and outnumber him. Modern beauty standards, be like. "Thank you for last night, I enjoyed a lot." He replies, "But I was not with you." "Well, that's the reason." Later Ben manages to escape from them using his strength. Then those wolves start chasing after Ben. But Ben comes out of the cave and calls, Come out now, I'll see you end. But the wolves, on the other hand, do not come because they live in the dark and are afraid to come outside. Then Julie is shown, along with her guards, bringing forth a golden egg. That egg was in golden color and strong power was surging from it. Meanwhile, the eight-headed lion appears. He asks Ben to be his friend, and says, "You possess remarkable abilities and it would be an honor to be your friend." Ben agrees to befriend him. Later, Julie and Ben move on their own path separately. While Julie was going, she notices a large stone, instead of her golden egg. Then she understands that Ben stole her egg. Then she goes and finds him sitting with the eight-headed lion and preparing the egg to eat. Seeing it, she gets furious and starts attacking Ben, and hits the golden egg accidentally. Then slowly the egg breaks and a baby comes from it, and it is the wolf gold beast's baby. It was so cute and adorable. Later that baby starts adoring Ben and then he gives him a name, Ben Wolf. But when she tries to persuade Ben Wolf to take him along with her, then Ben Wolf refuses to go with her. Julie claims that if I don't get him, I won't give you the map. Listening to that, Ben hands over Ben Wolf to her, and she gives the map to him. Now Ben has the map, and Julie has the Ben Wolf. Later Ben is on his way, riding on the back of eight-headed lion, and Julie was watching him from sky. Then a shield struck Ben and the eight-headed lion. Soon, the people who came to kill Ben have also arrived. They start to attack the eight-headed lion, but Ben using lion beast technique and the eight-headed lion using his full power, start attacking the shield and break it. Meanwhile, the lady among them uses her scrolling technique to attack Ben. Ben gets affected by it and sent to a fantasy world. There he sees his parents, and how they were attacked by Vilgax's clan. On the other hand, the eight-headed lion tries to defend them. Meanwhile, Ben seeing the people of Vilgax's clan attacking his parents, gets furious and comes out of the dream world. He attacks and injures the girl by using his lion beast technique. But she escapes and commands her soldiers to attack him, and her soldiers start attacking Ben, but he manages to escape from their attacks. And sends the eight-headed lion to the other side. But he and them arrive at a frozen lake. It was a trap set by Ben. Then a dragonfish comes out and eats one of them. Ben seeing the opportunity, runs from here and catches a red bird and rides on it. It was the same red bird that he tried to catch but didn't eat it before, but the red bird was not cooperating. So Ben warns it that if you don't fly quickly, he'll pluck all of your feathers. Then the bird gets scared and takes him to a faraway place. On reaching here, the bird starts saying that, "You have insulted me by talking about eating me, but I have a dream like others, and that is, to become like Master You." Then Ben remembers that he was the teacher of Julie, whose feather she has given to me. He showed the feather to the bird, then the bird got shocked and asks, if it was given to him by Master You? Then Ben replies, yes. Listening to it, the bird asks whether he knows him and if he will take me as his student, to which he responds yes. However, you must take me to the place I mention. Then the bird starts flying fast to the direction which Ben says. Part 8 begins with the red bird taking him to a place similar to a desert. While going, that red bird sees a man is cultivating here. And the red bird advises Ben that while the man is busy cultivating, we should loot him and take all his items. Ben beats the bird and informs that he is my friend. Later Ben notices a swarm of scorpions moving toward, about to attack him. Then, Ben gets down from the bird and begins killing the scorpions. And Finn sees all of that, understands and tells him that he is his real friend. Ben was happy to know that Finn has trust in him now. Ben comes to him and asks him, why has he come here? Finn explains that he has come here searching for the holy water. Then Redbird informs him that the Beijuang god also uses holy water to cleanse his weapons and claims that holy water may be found somewhere in this location and it can also help in increasing cultivation level. Listening to this, Ben says, why are we delaying then? Let us go and collect it. They decide to sit on the Redbird and go to the destination, but the red bird refuses, and tells them that they are too heavy to carry. "I won't be able to carry you both alone." Later, people who came to kill Ben are shown, who reached the holy water destination. However, when they went near it, to collect, as it was one of their missions, a dragon spirit appears, which is an illusion. They tried to kill it, but it just faded away because it was an illusion. Later, we see them being attacked by other beasts, which they quickly end. Meanwhile, the dragon spirit appears again, but in its energy form. They sit on their knees, use prayer, then the dragon tries to break their shield. It doesn't affect them. And later they trap the dragon and fill the tub with the dragon's energy form like water. Meanwhile, Ben comes there, and gets into the energy flow near the tub, and starts collecting holy water here, and starts to absorb some using a pearl given to him by Finn. Then those people tried attacking Ben, but it was ineffective because Ben was present inside the holy water, and it was protecting him from external attacks. But Ben felt like drowning in the water, so he tries to escape from here, but they start attacking him again. Meanwhile, Finn and the red bird arrive, and take him with them. As they go, his health begins to worsen due to consuming so much holy water. So he starts his meditation to stabilize his power, while Finn and the red bird were protecting him from being disturbed. During meditation, he realizes that the holy water is causing his supreme bone to regrow rapidly. Along with that, but his blood transformation level also increases to level 8. Meanwhile, they arrive. But Finn and the red bird try to stop them, but they were losing, and then finally Ben's meditation completes. And he starts attacking them, but then they build a shield together in the sky using their power. Because it was forbidden to kill anyone in Beijuane Mountain. And due to the created shield, Beijuane Mountain is unaware of the current incident. They used tornado rain technique to attack Ben, and he was trapped in that attack. Break time, and some funny memes for you all. Comment your favorite one in comment section. When examiner, have personal issues, with you. What I see. Versus. What my mom sees. If you've watched till here, I hope you are enjoying the video. So, please consider subscribing to our channel and let's continue. Ben escapes from it, using his treasure bone technique, and starts attacking using his lion beast technique. As they both witness Ben's power, then they start enhancing their power. As they continue to enhance their power, a crack opens up in the shield. Now Beijuane Mountain comes to know about the incident and turns both of them into ash, using metal chains. Then the red bird, Finn, Ben start moving in their decided direction. Then the ghost tells him that his sword is in the forbidden ring through telepathy. You will find it here. So they decide to go to the forbidden ring. When all three reach the forbidden ring, there they see several beasts standing at the gate. These beasts were saying, "Run away. You cannot own any of those treasures. Because you do not have any such ability to reach them," to all the people coming there. When Ben goes there, then those beasts repeat the same words. That you cannot get this treasure, so return back. After that, Ben notices the 8-headed lion there. Seeing it, he tries to move towards him. But a beast blocks the way of Ben. Ben then goes into rage and teaches him a lesson. Meanwhile, White Tiger was also observing everything, it says to a dragon snake, standing nearby him. This child belongs to the same school whose members had wounded you. You can take revenge from them today. Listening this, Dragon Snake gets furious and goes forward, ready to attack him. Meanwhile, Ben was standing near that 8-headed lion and saying to all, that he is my brother. And they will face the consequences, whoever teases him. I will kill them surely. Then the dragon snake appears here and says to Ben, I will not let you go today. When Ben hears his words, he says to him, that it will be revealed only after the fight. Either you will kill me, or I will make your soup after killing you. After this, the dragon snake attacks Ben. And it throws its sword towards him. But Ben uses his power, takes his sword into his control. Due to this, Dragon Snake becomes even more furious. and swallows Ben. But he comes out of its abdomen, making a hole in its body. And due to this, dragon snake died at the spot. While White Tiger was feeling envious, seeing his victory. Then it says, "I will surely kill this boy." After this, they cook the dragon snake and eat it together. At the same time, the Forbidden Ring's portal opens, and they all go inside it. As they enter here, then they find a bunch of treasure here. They all try to get them, while Ben was searching for that sword, for which he has come. At the same time, Ben's supreme bone starts glowing. As it shines, a treasure appears there. Ben understands, there is surely a connection between them and tries to catch it, but that treasure was going far from him. And White Tiger was observing all of it and wanted that treasure for himself. So he says to his servant, "Go and grab that treasure," which Ben is trying to chase after. On the other side, a huge bird beast was also chasing after that treasure. But the treasure swallows that bird beast. While Ben was searching for that treasure, White Tiger's men arrive and started attacking. Due to this, treasure begins to shine brighter and brighter and releases a ton of energy. The energy released from the treasure pushes White Tiger's men with strong force and throws them far away. After that, it starts running away from here, but some time later, the same treasure comes back to Ben by itself and he keeps it to himself. Then the ghost informs him that, "You will find that sword from the mountain in front of you." Seeing it, Ben knows that, in this mountain, the owner of the treasure is chosen by the treasure itself. Part 9 continues with Ben reaching the mountain, where the ghost told him that his weapon will be. Here he encounters several other beasts too. Those all beasts have also come here, to grab a treasure from here. Then a treasure appears before them and chooses one of the beasts. But another beast, being envious of it, beats it and tries to steal that treasure from it. Then, the Forbidden Ring comes to know and kills that beast. Because it was totally against the rules to steal others' treasure in that place. Meanwhile, several treasures appear and choose their owner. But Ben was not chosen by any treasure. So, Ben gets worried. But one beast tells Ben that there is still one sword left, which was not chosen by anyone. Then Ben approaches near that sword. That sword looked so useless and rusty to him. Then he thinks, maybe this is only that sword, which belongs to that ghost. Then he tries to take it out, but as he touches it, then it starts shining brightly. Then Ben understands that this sword belongs to that ghost, and puts his full strength to remove it, and finally takes it out. Then Ben sees a bright light coming from a distance. He starts to move towards that light, and here, he meets Julie. Julie was here with Ben Wolf. Ben feels so excited, seeing them. Then we are shown that Red Bird and Eight-Headed Lion were moving somewhere. And suddenly someone attacked them. Later, Red Bird comes to Ben and tells him that while I was going along with Eight-Headed Lion, someone attacked us. Please come and rescue the Eight-Headed Lion. Ben then asks him, "Who informed you where I was?" Then it tells that I had encountered some beasts from the gate who were discussing that Ben also came here and got a rusty sword. Then Ben understands all of this, that he was fooled by them, tricking the Red Bird to bring me here and kill me. In spite of knowing this, he goes with Red Bird to that place where they have attacked them. Julie was feeling worried about leaving Ben alone. She had a feeling that something bad may occur to Ben. Scene shifts and we see Ben reach that location, then notices there is a big shield here. Ben destroys the shield, but it goes useless. Then, White Tiger comes here along with the Golden Eagle, which was his friend. And they both attack Ben. But Ben remains unscattered from their attack. Now they both attack Ben together. Meanwhile, Julie reaches here with her guards, as they are attacking Ben, and rescues him. They start to attack that Golden Eagle, and Ben destroys the shield. Meanwhile, the White Tiger attacks Julie and wounds her. Seeing this, Ben becomes furious, and the White Tiger wanted the same. He tries to seal Julie in order to increase his rage. Then, Ben comes to her rescue and says, while holding her hand, "I will never let you be harmed. I will rescue you from this white tiger. Then the white tiger starts attacking Ben, but he remains in his posture and uses the sword and rescues her. Then the white tiger goes berserk because it failed to capture Julie and charges toward Ben immediately, but Ben kills him, using his power, piercing its chest. But the golden eagle was still alive and he goes into rage, because his friend died in the hands of Ben. Noticing its rage, Julie's guards ask her to leave this place, because their duty is only to protect her, not Ben. They repeatedly tell Julie to leave this place, and then we see the golden eagle gets ready to attack Ben. Break time, and some funny memes for you all. Comment your favorite one in comment section. I wish this happened someday for me also. Nice. Thanks for the sign. I was about to jump into the toilet. Let's continue. Golden Eagle uses his treasure to kill Ben, which works similar to a magnet. Ben then tries to destroy that treasure, but this sword gets pulled to that treasure, which means it was so powerful. Then he gets an idea. He uses his both Blue Eagle and Lion Beast techniques together. Then he attacks that eagle with his combination attack. After it, Ben rides on the back of it and starts punching with his power strength, but it was receiving no damage from those punches. Then Ben hits upon another plan and starts targeting Eagle's eyes, making the eagle blind, and takes it towards the treasure and hits the eagle directly to it. Then, he takes his sword out of the treasure and attacks the golden eagle, and it dies on the spot. Then the sword returns back to Ben. After that, 8-headed lion and the rest of the other beasts come to thank Ben for saving their life. Then suddenly a volcano erupts. Meanwhile, Julie tells Ben that Bidwan Mountain's outside gate has opened, and it is the indication of that, and we will have to move outside as soon as possible. And all the beasts living here will start killing people left behind after this gate closes. Then Ben says to them, "Go from here. I will join you after a while." I'll ask him, why? So, Ben tells them, "I have to go somewhere and collect something, so I cannot join you right now," but they all forbid him and tell, "Don't go anywhere right now and just come out with us." But he was not convinced. So Julie hands over a map to Ben while leaving. And then Julie, Redbird and others move to the outside portal. He uses the map to reach the destination where he wants to go. As Ben was going, he finds a talking stone. Then he asks, "Can you tell, where is the Fountain of Youth?" Then the stone guides him the way, and Ben takes that stone with him, for guiding him to the place, and not get lost. Finally, Ben reaches the place where the Fountain of Youth can be found. There he finds several beasts are working in the fields. Then Ben observes a golden beast monitoring them here, and he asks him, "You and your master belong to the Tiguan Mountain, right? Can you lead me that way to the Fountain of Youth?" It says to him, "There is no such thing, and just collect all the medicinal herbs here from the field for my lady owner." Then the speaking stone that Ben possesses says, "That's the way." Ben immediately starts moving in that direction, but that golden beast tries to stop him and tells him to do work here. But Ben tries to push that beast using his power. But his powers don't work here. Now his stone tells him, "You cannot use your power here, and you rather have to use your physical strength." Hearing this, Ben gets an idea and uses the stone to hit the beast. He attacks that beast several times. So, due to that, the golden beast loses its consciousness because of being hit by it several times. Then Ben frees all beasts who were forced to work here. And he continues to move towards finding the Fountain of Youth. On the other side, the golden beast's lady owner is shown, who is fighting with other beasts for the Fountain of Youth. But Ben goes on his way. He finds sand here, and thinks that the Fountain of Youth's water has dried, and begins to collect the sand from here. Where he was digging sand, he finds a worm. Ben keeps that worm with him. Meanwhile, that girl comes, who was fighting with the other beast for the Fountain of Youth. As she notices that worm, she says, "It is only the Fountain of Youth." And she asks Ben, "Give me that fountain of youth." Ben then says, "I will not give it to you." When Ben declines to give that worm to her, then they all begin to attack Ben together. Seeing their attack, Ben makes a counterattack by throwing the talking stone at them. Part 10 continues with girl from the previous part attacking Ben with her companions. But Ben also attacks them, using talking stone to throw at them using his own strength. Because he can't use his power in the area in which he was. They too start attacking Ben together. So Ben starts running from here because he was alone and can't defeat them all at once without his powers. Then he moves out of the medicinal field, and now he can use his powers. But they too come out of the medicinal field and start attacking him, but he defends himself from them. Ben faces them all, but he was fighting one versus several, so he again runs from here using a magical flying paper given to him by Julie along with the map. Soon Ben reaches a forbidden area near the location. Then his talking stone tells him, "You should use this flying paper for a long time, because you can only use it 3 times. And if you have to use it once, use it for a long time." Ben says, "Okay, I still have 2 turns left, and I can use it, so no problem." Then he hears sounds from here and his talking stone tells him, maybe there is a fight going between pureblood beasts. Ben moves here, and finds Vilgax here, who was fighting a pureblood beast butterfly effortlessly. Seeing him, Ben becomes furious and starts eating the fountain of youth sand. Because he was remembering the torture that happened to him in his childhood. And wants to increase his cultivation level and take revenge on Vilgax. But his stone tells him to keep yourself in control. Your level will not increase eating it. And then suddenly the mountain starts shaking, and Ben feels jerks from it. His stone tells him, many monsters are coming this way for their hunt, so we have to leave fast. So Ben leaves from here, with the help of his flying paper, and reaches a cave. There he sees the girl, who attacked him at the Mountain of Youth. He sees that girl came here to get the divine cocoon, and Ben was following her secretly and thinks, what is she doing? Then she breaks the barrier guarding the cocoon and makes it come out. Then the talking stone sees this and starts screaming shout. Due to this, the girl understands there is someone else in this place who is watching her. Then Ben comes out and the girl recognizes him. Soon, without wasting time, she attacks him. But Ben escapes from her attacks and holds her from behind. But the girl tries to attack Ben, using her enchanted earring, but Ben stops it with the help of his mouth. But the girl hits them with her powers and escapes from Ben's grasp. But she discovers that her earring is in Ben's hands now. She becomes furious and starts attacking Ben again. But her attack hits the rock instead of Ben. Due to this, a huge boulder starts falling on the cocoon. But as the boulder was about to fall on the cocoon, Ben saves it and comes out with the help of the flying paper. And he can't use the flying paper anymore now. Later, he reaches a garden and starts losing his consciousness because of the aroma. Meanwhile, a magical tree began approaching Ben, and it was the only one responsible for releasing that aroma. Break time, with some interesting memes for you all. Comment your favorite one in comment section. Before haircut? Meanwhile haircut? After haircut? Everything is going right in my life, except for the studies. Tough competition for Apple. If you've watched till here, I hope you are enjoying the video. So, please consider subscribing to our channel and let's continue. Ben was intoxicated by the aroma and unable to fight the tree. Then the tree grabs Ben, but he escapes and begins to eat its roots. Because he believes that this will enhance his powers, and indeed, it does. With his newfound strength, he defeats the tree. Afterwards, Ben notices 2 fruits while he is going and decides to keep them with him. Suddenly, he sees several beasts running and joins them. There, he sees Julie and others nearby and asks, "What are you all doing here?" The red bird and lion respond, "We don't know either. We saw some beasts running, so we followed them, and reached here." Soon, they see the Monkey King was chasing several other beasts who were trying to steal the magical fruits from his garden. The chase leads them to a mysterious place, where they encounter the girl, who previously fought Ben and Vilgax. Now, the Monkey King starts attacking them too because they want to take the fruits from his garden also. As the Monkey King moves forward to confront them, Ben and the others are shown who become intoxicated due to eating the fruits that he found earlier. Meanwhile, the cocoon breaks open, revealing a cute baby bird. The bird declares and says, "I am a god of the highest level, destined to transform into a phoenix as I grow older. But you disrupted my cultivation?" Ben, irritated, says, "You would have died if I hadn't saved you." Later, Ben begins deciding a name for the baby bird, but he gets a stomachache due to overeating the fruits. To recover, he sits down and meditates. As he meditates, an immense amount of energy begins to radiate from him, affecting even the Monkey King. This was due to eating those fruits. Meanwhile, Monkey King, still fighting Vilgax and the girl, orders his clones to investigate the source of the energy. They locate Ben while he was meditating and attempt to attack him, but their efforts have no effect. Julie defends Ben by summoning her guards to keep the Monkey King's clones at bay. Meanwhile, Ben's blood transformation level reaches 9, making him incredibly powerful. The Monkey King's clones continue their assault on Ben, but he eliminates them with a single strike. But one of them manages to escape, but Julie warns, "Stop him before he tells the Monkey King everything." Then Ben starts chasing after the fleeing clone, but he comes across a fruit-bearing tree along the way. Tempted, he pauses to pick the fruit. Meanwhile, the clone seizes this moment to reach the Monkey King and inform him. Later Ben arrives here as well. Furious, Monkey King launches an attack on Ben, who narrowly escapes. Enraged, Monkey King activates his spiritual leg grand formation to trap and end them all. This powerful move causes the ground beneath everyone, both people and beasts, to freeze in their place. The Monkey King grows larger and larger in size, and transforms his weapon by attaching a huge mountain to it, creating a giant axe. Fully armed and furious, the Monkey King is ready to strike. The feet of all the beasts and people were frozen to the ground, due to the Monkey King's spiritual leg grand formation. Meanwhile, Ben's treasure releases Ben from this formation. As Ben escapes, the girl, Vilgax, and the other beasts attempt to destroy the Monkey King's massive weapon. Despite their combined efforts, they fail to break it. Determined to save them, Ben attacks the Monkey King, causing it to lose balance. This distraction gives the others an opportunity to escape and steal the Monkey King's fruits. However, instead of taking just the fruit, Ben seizes the entire tree. Using his powers, Monkey King recovers all his stolen trees, leaving others with nothing. Furious, the Monkey King attacks everyone, forcing them to flee. Ben escapes on Julie's magical carpet. The Monkey King is later seen standing at the exit gate of Beijuane Mountain, determined to stop the fleeing beasts and retrieve its remaining stolen trees. The others gather at the gate but hesitate to confront the Monkey King, lacking the courage to fight him. At that moment, Monkey King hears the voice of Julie's father, warning him to retreat, knowing that his daughter is among them. Despite the warning, the Monkey King ignores, confident that Julie's father cannot enter Beijuane Mountain due to its restrictions. However, the spiritual power of Julie's father suddenly enters the mountain and injures the Monkey King. Enraged, Monkey King increases his size and strength to fight, but the injury inflicted by Julie's father's limited power proves significant damage to him. Then the mountain itself tries to restrain Julie's father with chains, but it fails. Realizing the immense power of Julie's father, the Monkey King retreats, and the others also leave from the exit. Later, Ben encounters Liam and Finn, standing alongside Lee. Liam tells Lee, "Ben is brave. He has brought the items you requested. Lee orders Liam and Finn to leave and speaks to Ben privately, explaining everything that, our tree god is gravely ill. We've tried to heal him, but nothing has worked so far. Hearing this, Ben reassures him. Don't worry. I brought the Fountain of Youth, it will heal him. Lee replies, this is our last hope, so take great care of it. Ben then visits Roy and is delighted to see him stronger than before. Following this, Ben meets Jane and shares the news of reaching blood transformation level 9. Proudly, he also shows Jane the Fountain of Youth, but Jane reacts indifferently, advising Ben to quickly learn a new technique. Ben was surprised by this response, recalling Lee's earlier warning about trouble ahead. Taking his advice seriously, Ben heads to a library to search for a suitable technique for him to learn. Part 11 continues with despite considering many options, Ben struggles to decide which technique is right for him to learn. Then the librarian notices his confusion and advises, there are many techniques, but you must choose the one that resonates with you. Taking the librarian's advice to heart, Ben discovers a technique called Golden Jade Wave. This technique promises to greatly enhance his powers, but it requires an eagle bone for activation. Meanwhile, Lee and Liam attempt to heal the sacred god tree using various methods. Despite their efforts, the tree remains unresponsive. It is only when they use medicine made from the Fountain of Youth that the god tree regains some of its strength. With its partial restoration, the god tree activates a powerful defensive system, preventing further threats from reaching them. A bird beast that had been trying to attack their institution is instantly eliminated. Elsewhere, another bird beast is seen informing an old man that the god tree has recovered. The old man responds grimly, it didn't recover on its own. Someone must have helped it. Meanwhile, Ben and Roy are rushing to help the distressed red bird, who is being bullied by a girl. The bird repeatedly calls out Ben's name for help. When they arrive, they are shocked to see that the girl is none other than Julie. Julie had intentionally troubled the bird to lure Ben into meeting her. Upon seeing Julie, Ben smirks and teases her by saying, "You've gotten fat." Annoyed, Julie says, "Don't say that." Ben crosses his arms and asks, "Where did you go after leaving Beijuane Mountain? You just disappeared." Julie explains that, "My father came to pick me up, so I left with him." Ben raises an eyebrow and asks, "Then why did you come back?" As their conversation unfolds, both of them begin to blush. Watching the scene, the phoenix bird sarcastically comments, "What kind of drama is this?" Irritated, Julie turns to the phoenix and starts hitting it. While this unfolds, Ben remains lost in thoughts about his new technique. Suddenly, the ghost appears, the spirit of the warrior whose sword Ben had taken from Beijuane Mountain. Without hesitation, Ben hands the sword back to the ghost and says, "No need to thank me. Just give me a powerful treasure in return." Instead of rewarding him, the ghost begins to beat Ben. Stunned, Ben protests, "I helped you, and this is how you repay me?" The ghost responds sternly, "I did this for your own good. You are too obsessed with power but have yet to truly build your strength. This is your hidden weakness." With that, the ghost vanishes, leaving his sword behind. Ben stands there, contemplating the ghost's words, torn between focusing on increasing his power or strengthening his foundation. Elsewhere, Vilgax is deep in thought, uncertain whether the cousin whose bone he stole was Ben or someone else. The scene shifts. After much reflection, Ben finally makes his decision. He will increase his power. He begins meditating, channeling all his energy into enhancing his strength. Using his treasure, he starts forming the Golden Eagle Spirit formation. At that moment, the spirit of the tree god appears before him, offering him an eagle bone as a reward for his help. With this, his powers will grow even stronger. The next morning, Ben and Julie arrive at the school battleground, where two groups are organizing a fierce battle between Zora's group versus Zeta's group. Zora's group is overpowering Zeta's, proving to be a dominant force. Watching the match, Maria asks, "Is there anyone strong enough to defeat them?" At that moment, Ben steps forward, ready to fight. His opponent fights fiercely, but Ben refuses to back down. Meanwhile, Maria secretly sends a message to the old man, who soon discovers that the God Tree's strength was only temporarily restored by the Fountain of Youth. The Fountain of Youth granted it temporary power, he mutters. But it won't last long. Meanwhile, Ben struggles to gain the upper hand in his match. Realizing he needs something stronger, he activates his spirit formation and unleashes the eagle spirit, ultimately defeating his opponent. At the same time, the old man arrives at the sacred place and attacks the God Tree. However, though weakened, the God Tree is not defenseless. Using its immense power, it destroys the old man. As he perishes, the old man mutters in shock, "So, you've been hiding your true strength all along." After the battle, the God Tree calls for Lee. "My life is short," he says. "The Fountain of Youth gave me temporary energy, but soon, I will wither away. Many forces seek to attack this place. You must send the students to the outer boundary of the Institute for their safety." Lee immediately begins implementing the God Tree's instructions. However, just as he prepares to evacuate the students, he makes a chilling discovery. A massive army of beasts has already gathered at the outer boundary of the Institute. Shocked and alarmed, Lee realizes that someone has informed about their plan to them. But who? Before he can act, a huge bird beast launches a sudden attack. Break time. With some interesting memes for you all. Comment your favorite one in comments. Me on February 14th be like, "I love you." All dreams have meaning. Meanwhile, my dreams be like. If you've watched till here, I hope you are enjoying the video. So, please consider subscribing to our channel. And the Institute is shown to be under attack by several beasts. Julie, Lee, Liam, and Ben begin fighting them. Jane also uses his thunder technique, but is unable to defeat the beasts. Then, the tree god creates a portal and urges them to enter it for protection. Meanwhile, a student is seen running towards Liam. Liam, who was guarding the portal, notices him, being chased by several beasts. Liam attempts to help him, but it was a trap. As Liam moves to protect the student attacks him. Despite the betrayal, Liam fights to his last breath. Liam dies in the fight, and Ben arrives to find him dead. He was depressed, remembering the time he spent with Liam. Then, a snake beast appears and destroys the portal with its power. Many people were trapped inside it. Julie was distraught seeing this, and some people came to her aid. Then, Julie decides to leave, to get help from her father. Later, two beasts are shown attacking the God Tree in an attempt to destroy it completely. Then, the ghost comes to defend the tree, but the God Tree was severely injured, and ultimately dies. They continue to fight the beasts with the ghost supporting them. Meanwhile, Ben, overwhelmed with grief and rage over Liam's death, transforms into an energy beast. With unstoppable power, he charged at the enemies, destroying them with his bare hands. His strength had reached new heights. He activated his Golden Eagle technique, unleashing a devastating assault. The battlefield shook under his overwhelming might. But the beasts weren't stopping. Their numbers kept growing, making it impossible to defeat them individually. Realizing this, Ben and the others decided to unite their strength and prepare to fight them back as one. They all started fighting the beasts more efficiently than before. Ben's treasure suddenly emerges and flies toward the ghost, who had been battling the two beasts with his sword. As soon as the treasure reaches the ghost, he uses it to imprison the legendary beasts inside it. Moments later, the treasure returns back to Ben's head. The ghost was now drained of energy, handed his sword to Ben back and said, "Rebuild this institute." With those last words, the ghost disappeared. Seeing this, the enemies quickly launched an attack on Ben. They knew that the ghost had left, and Ben's energy was nearly exhausted. Believing Ben and his companions were vulnerable, they rushed forward. Ben and the Red Bird fought back fiercely, refusing to back down. Others also fought with all their might. Meanwhile, Julie's father arrived on the battlefield. He declared, "We can rebuild this institute. Those who do not wish to fight, come behind me." As soon as he said this, he created a portal, and many people started moving toward it for safety. But the enemies did not allow this to happen. They launched a powerful attack to stop them. At that moment, Lee appeared from behind and quickly formed a massive shield to protect his companions. That shield's purpose was to prevent the enemy's attacks and escape from here. However, some beasts shattered the shield with their overwhelming power together, and Lee was killed in the process. Seeing this, Finn rushes into battle, his heart heavy with grief. But in his attempt to save Lee, he too is killed. Jane then created a huge energy shield to protect his students. He shouted, "Everyone, get inside." Realizing this, the beasts unleashed their combined energy into the sky to strike Jane down. Seeing the attack, Ben quickly placed a tag on himself, used to attract the energy, so Jane and others would be safe. However, Jane pushed Ben into the portal, removing the tag and placing it on himself. The attack strikes Jane instead. Part 12 continues with Ben awakening in the stone village, sometime later of that incident. But even in this place, his mind remains trapped in memories of the battle he left behind. Seeking answers, Ben goes to the tree god. Then the tree god looks at him and says, "You possess a special treasure, one with immense spiritual power." Ben, overwhelmed with guilt and sorrow, listens in silence. Tears well up in his eyes. He had this power all along. If only he had understood it sooner, maybe he could have saved everyone. Consumed by regret, he clenches his fists and makes a vow to the tree god. "I will protect the people around me. I will use my powers to help others. Please, send me back to that world." The tree god agrees, but gives him a task first. "Before I help you, plant the flower you brought from Taigu Mountain here. It will protect this land." Without hesitation, Ben plants the flower, securing the village's safety. As he finishes, Kevin approaches him with a bright smile. "Come play with me," he says. But Ben, lost in grief, shakes his head. "I don't want to play." He turns away, walking off in silence. Later, as he sits alone, deep in sorrow, Max finds him. Seeing Ben's state, he says, "That boy may didn't have a solution to your problem, but he just wanted to cheer you up." Hearing this, Ben breaks down. Tears stream down his face as he confesses, "I wasn't strong enough. I couldn't save my friends. It was all because of me." Max puts his comforting hand on his shoulder and says, "You did everything you could, Ben. Don't blame yourself." Later, that night, Ben goes to find Kevin to apologize. Then Kevin smiles and forgives him, and soon, they become good friends. For the first time in a long while, Ben laughs again as they play together. By morning, Ben's resolve had returned. He goes back to the tree god and states, "I will focus on my future now," determined to grow stronger. He asks the tree god to send his spiritual soul to another world, so he can train and increase his power. The tree god, seeing his determination, agrees. A sky portal appears before Ben, glowing with radiant energy. With a deep breath, Ben goes to the other world. Ben reaches the other world through the portal. There he sees two old men, who were being chased by Vilgax's clan members. The clan members are after them, demanding information about Ben's whereabouts. Ben, amused by the situation, smirks and loudly says, "Surround them, so they can't escape." The clan members follow his command and trap the old men. They immediately ask, "Where is the animal milk boy?" Hearing this, the old men point directly at Ben. But before they could take a proper look, Ben quickly changes his appearance. He glares at them and shouts, "How dare you call me Animal Milk Boy?" To cover up his identity, he immediately attacks the old men. During the fight, he hands them his milk bottle and whispers, "Here, take this. You can trade it for treasure." Their eyes widen in greed. They lift the bottle high and claim, "We know the Animal Milk Boy. Give us 15 treasure bottles, and we'll tell you all about him." At that moment, more people arrive at the scene. The old men grin and says, "That Animal Milk Boy is extremely powerful. He's reached the highest level of blood transformation. If you want to defeat him, you'll need to outsmart him." They propose a deal. "Give us the treasure bottles, and we'll tell you his location." After receiving their payment, they reveal, he's near the two mountains, training where he jumped last time. Hearing this, the clan members rush toward the mountains. Meanwhile, Ben smirks, quickly changes back to his appearance again, and collects all the treasure bottles, not leaving a single one for them. However, one man among them stays behind and notices what Ben has done and immediately sends a message to his allies. Ben glares at him, clenches his fist, and delivers a powerful punch. Then the man collapses, unconscious. Unfortunately, the message has already been sent. More clan members arrive, launching an attack on Ben. Ben fights back fiercely, using his agility to dodge their attacks and counterattack. The enemies discuss amongst themselves, "How can we possibly end this Animal Milk Boy? Even the huge beast couldn't defeat him." Hearing this, many of them panic and flee. Meanwhile, Julie is shown missing Ben. A companion approaches her and informs, Ben is in another world. Hearing this, Julie's eyes widened. Without hesitation, she decides to follow him. Back in the other world, the remaining clan members launch a fire silkworm attack on Ben. It is a massive net that traps him, restricting his movement. Struggling to break free, Ben channels his power and unleashes his Golden Eagle technique. Now free, Ben eliminates the remaining enemies one by one. Just then, one of the mysterious persons starts attacking Ben using the same deadly technique that killed Liam. Recognizing the attack, Ben dodges at the last moment. Seizing the opportunity, he swiftly snatches his needles. The enemy soldiers, witnessing Ben's overwhelming strength, begin to panic. Some try to flee, but one of their leaders shouts at them, "Where are you going? We leave only after we end him." But Ben, now fully enraged, doesn't give them a chance. He unleashes his full power and defeats them all. At that moment, a huge stone descends from the sky. A powerful voice announces that Ben has won the bronze prize for completing the most feats in the shortest amount of time. Meanwhile, in another location, Vilgax is shown holding a similar bronze prize. A giant octopus-like beast approaches him and demands, "Hand over the bronze prize." Back with Ben. He curiously examines the bronze prize, wondering if it's something edible. He even tries to take a bite to check. The old men from earlier burst into laughter. "You fool! That's not food, it's a powerful treasure." Meanwhile, the enemies plotting against Ben report back to their boss. One of them says, "Ben has reached the highest level of transformation. If we want to end him, we must bring him into our territory." Hearing this, their boss smirks and issues an order. "Send the person who killed Liam. He will take care of Ben." Soon, the killer arrives and confronts Ben. With a cunning smirk, he taunts Ben, provoking his fury. Determined to settle this fight once and for all, Ben follows him straight into enemy territory. Break time. With some interesting memes for you all, comment your favorite one in comment section. When people owe me money, I put the amount in their contact name. I can't marry you, my family is totally against it. Other person. Who are they to stop you? His reply, my wife and 2 kids. Then her. Wait, what?
That sounded naughty.
If you've watched till here, I hope you are enjoying the video. So, please consider subscribing to our channel and let's continue. We are shown two new people waiting for Ben at entrance. They plan to eliminate Ben, but he remains unaware of their intentions. Ben, standing tall, demands, "Hand over that boy, or I will destroy this place." However, they ignore his warning and launch an attack. Ben dodges effortlessly, using his power to evade their strikes. Instead of continuing the fight, they turn their attention to something else. "Give us the bronze prize you have." Ben raises an eyebrow. "This useless thing? Why do you want it?" They don't answer. Instead, they send their soldiers to attack Ben. Without hesitation, Ben unleashes his Golden Eagle technique. A powerful wave of energy surges forward, colliding with the approaching army. A fierce battle erupts. Ben fights them all, eliminating any opponent with his powers. Then, one of the enemies crafts a massive trap which looks similar to a tower but powerful enough to capture and kill Ben. Ben, sensing the danger, activates his Lion Beast technique to break free. But the technique fails. The trap tightens its hold, imprisoning Ben. Outside, they mock him as, "Ben is finished. He's as good as dead." But suddenly, a surge of power erupts. Ben breaks free, shattering the trap into pieces. Not only that, he grabs hold of the trap artifact itself and keeps with him. With blazing fury, he charges at his enemies. However, one of the men smirks and says, "You think that was our only trap? We have plenty more. You will never escape us." At that moment, a mysterious girl appears. Ben recognizes her. He had met her before. But she summons a magical flying scroll, aimed directly at Ben. The scroll glows with strange energy and begins binding Ben. Ben struggles to break free, but the paper grows stronger with each passing second. Meanwhile, in another location, Julie was searching for Ben. She stops people on the streets, asking, "Where is Ben? Have you seen him?" One of them says, "You don't need to search anymore. He must be dead by now." Hearing this, Julie's eyes burn with rage. She teaches that person a harsh lesson and continues her search. Back in the battle, Ben is still trapped due to the magical scroll. He pushes against it, trying to escape, but the girl intensifies its power. Suddenly, Ben's supreme bone begins to glow. At the same time, Vilgax's supreme bone glows in a distant location too. With a sudden burst of energy, Ben breaks free from the magical scroll. He tears it apart into countless pieces. The huge stone appears once again, announcing that Ben has won a new bronze prize. Part 13 continues with, as usual, Ben taking a bite of bronze prize to test its taste and says, "Yuck, this is disgusting." So he puts it back in his pocket. That mysterious girl disappears, realizing that Ben is far stronger than she expected. Suddenly, the boy who had led Ben to this clan returns. But this time, he is not alone. He has brought a group of powerful warriors. Ben and one of them clash fiercely. A battle of sheer power erupts. Ben, sensing his strength, activates his Lion Beast technique to counter him. But it has no effect. Then the boy smirks, unfazed. Ben grits his teeth, realizing this fight won't be easy. Another one steps forward, activating his dragon spirit to kill Ben. Ben, unshaken, faces him head-on. But suddenly, another enemy attacks Ben from the side. Ben swiftly dodges using his Eagle Beast technique and engages the first enemy in battle. Meanwhile, Ben attempts to push his blood transformation to level 10. But both opponents relentlessly attack, preventing him from succeeding. Ben fights back, with both of them, simultaneously. With precise timing, he unleashes his Golden Eagle technique at the first enemy. However, the enemy's dragon spirit blocks the attack. Seeing this, Ben realizes, without reaching blood transformation level 10, he cannot defeat them all. So, he starts absorbing energy from both of his enemies. Watching in terror, the enemy leader, Nick, shouts, "Stop him. If he reaches level 10, we won't be able to defeat him." In desperation, they all force an overload of energy into Ben, which was too much energy for him to handle. Ben winces in pain, his body struggling to contain the power. Instead of advancing to level 10, he becomes severely injured. Realizing his condition, Ben activates his Golden Wings technique, an escape move he learned at the Institute. With one mighty flap, he takes off, soaring into the sky. The enemies immediately start chasing him. On the other side, Julie sees Ben flying above her. Without hesitation, she rushes towards him. Meanwhile, Nick and his group lose sight of Ben. He had flown too far ahead. Nick, his face twisting in frustration, sets the entire jungle on fire. "Let's see if he can hide now," he mocks. Not far away, Ben, weakened and injured, collapses under a tree. Even now, he tries again to reach level 10. But his body is too weak, his strength almost drained. Finally, he faints. At that moment, King Kong sees Ben unconscious and starts searching for help. A short distance away, he spots Julie. She had arrived, guided by Ben Wolf's sniffing power. King Kong urgently takes Julie to Ben. Julie, upon seeing Ben's battered body, immediately tries to heal him, using her father's medicine. But it has no effect. Desperate, tears fill in Julie's eyes. She whispers, while her voice was trembling, "I know I disappeared for 6 months without telling you. I know I said horrible things to you. I promise I won't do that again. Just, please wake up." With tears streaming down her face, she hugs Ben tightly. At that moment, Ben's fingers twitch. His breathing steadies. He slowly regains consciousness. As his vision clears, he realizes Julie is with him. Just then, Julie hears footsteps approaching. Without delay, she and her soldiers create a protective shield around herself and Ben. Nick arrives, standing before the shield. With a cold smile, he speaks. "Princess, hand over Ben. Do that, and we'll let you go unharmed?" Julie stares defiantly at him and says, "Never." Inside the shield, Ben finally regains full consciousness. With renewed determination, he tries again, pushing his blood transformation to level 10. Outside, Nick and his companions attack the shield, trying to break it. But it's too late. At that right moment, Ben reaches blood transformation level 10. One of the enemies, using his lion beast technique, manages to shatter the shield. The explosion of force injures Julie slightly. Seeing her weakened and vulnerable, the enemies turn towards her, ready to finish her off. But before they can, in the blink of an eye, Ben blocks their attack, protecting Julie. His eyes burn with powerful energy. His aura was more powerful than ever. His voice, filled with unshakable rage, echoes through the battlefield. "You shouldn't have done that." Break time, with some interesting memes for you all. Comment your favorite one in comment section. If your partner says, "You're my world, don't get distracted," there are 8 more planets in the solar system. Spider in my room, after listening to my love story. If you've watched till here, I hope you are enjoying the video. So, please consider subscribing to our channel and let's continue. Ben turns to Julie, concerned. "You should sit down and heal yourself," he tells her gently. Julie hesitates but agrees. She steps aside, allowing Ben to deal with the enemies. Ben steps forward, radiating power. His level 10 spirit flares around him, a force so overwhelming that his enemies freeze in fear. "Impossible," one of them says. "People at level 10 are extremely rare, and incredibly powerful." Panic sets in. Some try to flee, but Ben blocks their path, while saying, "Leaving so soon?" with a smirk. A few enemies gather their courage and attack, but Ben effortlessly dodges their strikes and defeats them all. Seeing this, both the dragon and lion spirit warriors launch a combined attack. A devastating force rushes toward Ben. But Ben channels energy from within, unleashing a counterforce that deflects their attacks and forces them to their knees. One of them, the dragon spirit warrior, his pride shattered, glares at Ben and says, "I will never accept defeat from a traitor like you." Ben repeats, "Me, a traitor?" The warrior clenches his fists and says, "Nick told us, you were one who informed them about our formation and left, so the beasts could attack us. You abandoned us. You are the one responsible for it." At that moment, Julie steps forward and tells you're wrong. Ben isn't the traitor. Then she shows Nick is the real traitor. He's the one who killed Tree God, Liam, and betrayed us. The warrior's face pales. He lowers his head in shame. Now, with the truth revealed, Ben takes out the needles he had stolen in earlier parts. With swift, precise movements, he eliminates the remaining enemies. But, in the chaos, Nick escapes. Ben watches him go, but doesn't chase. Instead, he turns to Julie, with a playful gesture on his face. "You worried about me?" he teases. Julie, crossing her arms, says, "Yes." After a brief moment, Ben decides to spare the dragon spirit warrior. He and Julie return to the city. Back in the city, people whisper in awe about Ben's strength. He had escaped the Yu clan's territory, unscathed. As Ben walks, his gaze lands on a familiar face. The girl from before, the one from whom he stole the cocoon. Ben says to Julie, "I'll be right back." Julie watches as Ben approaches the girl, who stands beside her grandfather. The girl steps forward and says, "My grandfather wishes to speak with you." The old man sees Ben carefully and tells, "I have an offer for you, one that would greatly benefit you." Ben leans slightly toward the girl, whispering in her ear, "First, you tried to kill me. Now you care about my well-being." The girl flushes in embarrassment. At that moment, Julie, standing at a distance, sees Ben whispering to the girl. Her expression darkens. She frowns, jealousy sparking in her face. Without a second word, she turns away angrily and leaves. Ben notices her reaction. But before he can follow, the old man suddenly attacks Ben. A surge of power rushes toward him. Ben reacts instantly, meeting the attack head-on. He injures the old man slightly. The girl steps in between them and says, "Stop." The old man, breathing heavily, stops the fight and says, "Listen, Ben, I don't want to be your enemy. I just want a treasure for my clan. And only someone at level 10 can reach it." However, Ben, uninterested, turns to walk away. Seeing this, the old man adds one final offer. "If you change your mind, meet me at Taigu Mountain." Ben pauses. His parents, they were rumored to be there. After thinking for a moment, Ben changes his mind. "Fine. I'll go to Taigu Mountain. But on one condition." The old man listens and Ben continues, "I want your protective shield, and you must help me find my parents." The old man says, "Agreed." Part 14 begins in the original world. Ben sitting near the tree god, meditating. He focuses, trying to push past level 10. Suddenly, a strange glow emits from his supreme bone. At the same time, Vilgax's bone begins glowing too. Both experience severe pain. Sensing the danger, Vilgax's master cuts the bone connection, breaking the link. Meanwhile, Ben's power increases, and he unlocks a new stage of level 10. As the energy stabilizes, Ben bows and says, "Thank you, Tree God." He stands up. "I have to go to Taiga Mountain now." The Tree God extends a branch toward Ben. "Take this." Ben hesitates. "What is it?" Tree God replies, "It is a piece of my power. If you ever need my help, this will summon me." Ben nods gratefully and accepts it. With the Tree God's help, he teleports to the old man's group using a portal. Ben immediately asks Ruby and the others, "Do you have any news about my parents? Are they really at Taiga Mountain?" The old man replies, "Yes, I have people gathering information. We'll know soon. But first, we must go to Taigu Mountain immediately." At that moment, the girl steps forward, as if wanting to say something. But she hesitates. Ben notices. "What is it?" Then she lowers her face, uncertain something bothering her. Ben and the others travel through the teleportation channel, heading toward Taigu Mountain. Curious, Ben asks Ruby, "Why didn't your grandfather come with us?" Ruby replies, "He stayed behind to keep the teleportation channel open. But he sent many other people to help us out." Just then, a man steps forward. His name is Henry. He looks at Ben and says with a smirk, "So, Ruby, this is the useless boy you called to come with us?" Ben frowns but stays calm. Henry crosses his arms and says, "Call me grandfather and I will protect you." Ben gets angry and says, "Take that back, or I won't hold back." Henry refuses, and soon, the tension turns into a fight. Their fight attracts the attention of the all others on the ship. Both Ben and Henry use their spirit powers, causing the ship to shake violently. Suddenly, the ship loses control and falls out of the portal. They all crash into dark seawater. A deep voice rumbles from beneath the ocean. "You made a mistake coming here." Then a massive shark beast rises from the ocean, along with other fierce creatures. It says, "Now, you will all die." Then the shark beast tears the ship in half. As the ship starts sinking, one of their team members, a golden beast, summons a magical carpet and says, "Everyone, get on." They all jump onto the carpet, but the sea beasts refuse to let them escape. Ben and the others fight back, while the carpet flies forward. Soon, they see something in the distance. A ghost ship. Ben says, "We can't fly over the sea for long. Our energy will run out." Ruby agrees and says, "We should board onto the ghost ship." But Henry looks scared. Starts telling, "No. The stories say that whoever boards a ghost ship never comes back." Ben ignores him and jumps onto the ship. While others hesitate, but with no other choice, they follow him. Ben steps inside the dark, empty cabin. Suddenly, the door behind him closes by itself. Ben doesn't react and keeps moving forward. Then he thinks, "There's no one here. It's safe." But then, suddenly, chains shoot out from the shadows and wrap around Ben. Ben struggles to break free. Outside, the chains reach out toward the others. Henry panics, turns the carpet around, and flies away. Ben activates his golden wings and breaks free. But the chains catch him again. Using all his strength, Ben destroys the chains. But he collapses, exhausted, along with King Kong, because of using all of his power. Sometime later, when Ben wakes up, he explores the ship. In a dark corner, he finds strange writing on the ground. As he touches it, a vision appears. A mysterious man stands near the shore, dropping small boats into the water. The boats transform into ghost ships. Ben feels, "This is amazing," and gets lost in his thoughts. Soon, Ben arrives at the shore of Taigu Mountain and looks around. He notices others but Ruby isn't with them. Before he can react, a portal opens. A ghost ship similar to the one before appears. Ben grabs it and keeps it with him. But a sudden attack was launched at him. But he dodges it just in time. He turns around and asks, "Who are you?" Then a warrior steps forward, surrounded by a water dragon spirit. "I'm Rex," he says. "I want that ghost ship. Hand it over." Ben starts saying, "If you want it," while moving forward, and increasing his energy, continues to say, "Come and take it." Break time, with some interesting memes for you all. Comment your favorite one, in comment section. When surgery came from the topic that you left, optional during studies. Messaged, "I am here for you." Reply, "Thanks, I'm going through a lot of things, so it means a lot." Between, "I lost all my contacts. Who's this?" His reply, "I am your Uber driver. I'm here to pick you up." If you've watched till here, I hope you are enjoying the video. So, please consider subscribing to our channel and let's continue. Rex, with his water dragon spirit, launches an attack on Ben. Ben quickly counters, using his lion beast technique, blocking the attack with ease. Seeing this, Rex moves in closer and attacks repeatedly, trying to land a hit. But Ben dodges every single one. Rex smirks. "You're just a human. You can never defeat someone from the strongest Sea clan." With that, Rex powers up and starts overpowering Ben, pushing him back with sheer strength. Ben decides to fight back using his golden eagle technique, but Rex anticipates it, dodging effortlessly and strikes him. Due to this, Ben gets injured. Just then, a mermaid appears and attacks Rex. She also wants the treasure and isn't about to let Rex take it. Rex and the mermaid begin their own fierce battle, giving Ben a moment to heal himself. As he regains his strength, Ben notices the door to the treasure cave has opened. Wasting no time, he moves forward. But before he can reach it, Henry and the others ambush him. They never cared about Ben, they just wanted the treasure for themselves. Ruby steps forward, trying to stop them, but a massive stone falls, hitting Ben hard. He sinks into the depths of the sea. As he sinks, a thought crosses his mind. Even at level 10? I can still be defeated. I need to become stronger. Then, beneath the water, King Kong gestures toward something. A mysterious cave. It has two sides, one burning hot and the other freezing cold. Ben immediately realizes, this is the perfect place to train. Determined, he heads inside and begins his cultivation training. Meanwhile, Vilgax is in the middle of a fight with a giant bird. He strikes it down, killing it instantly. His master watches with disapproval. That bird was meant for training, not for killing. Vilgax coldly replies, the weak have only one fate, death. Hearing this, his master's eyes darken. If that's what you believe, then fight me. If you win, I will open the secret door for you. But if you lose, I will stop training you. Vilgax smirks and says, fine. I accept. In another place, Julie was shown talking to her father. He tells her, we are reopening our clan's former territory. Many young warriors will come to train. You may invite someone if you wish. Julie nods. Yes. There's someone I want to call. 2 years have passed. Inside the mysterious cave, Ben has grown stronger, both in power and size. His cultivation level has reached new heights. For the first time in 2 years, Ben finally steps out of the cave. King Kong walks beside him. He looks around and spots Ruby and the others. They're still here, waiting for the treasure. Because after Ben fell into the sea, the treasure cave door had closed. Ruby stares at him, eyes wide with recognition. Henry says, oh, you're still alive? We left you behind last time. Ben's eyes narrow and he says, this time, I won't be the one left behind. Henry smirks and says, we only used you. We never had any real information about your parents being in Taigu Mountain. Ben gets angry and looks at Ruby. But she looks guilty and says, Ben, I was about to tell you the truth. But Ben ignores her. Henry suddenly attacks, but Ben, with just his fingers, defeats him effortlessly. Henry panics and tries to run, but Ben strikes him down, killing him on the spot. Without a second word, Ben boards his ghost ship and leaves. Part 15 continues as Ben sails across the ocean. He sits down to eat. But suddenly, a mysterious girl appears and starts eating his food. Ben's eye twitches in frustration. Hey, that's mine. The girl simply smiles. Then, with a wave of her hand, she magically creates even more food. Ben's anger fades and says, not bad. As they eat, the girl suddenly notices the talking stone on Ben's head. She points at it and asks, what's that? Ben leans back and starts telling about it. Ben learns how to use his talking stone from Lucy. She explains everything to him, and later, Ben uses it to defeat several others and collect their treasures. Lucy then asks Ben if he knows someone with a lot of treasure. After thinking, Ben takes her to Rex. The moment Rex sees Ben, he gets angry and attacks him. But Ben dodges and avoids the attack. Lucy, however, jumps in and attacks Rex hardly, and steals his treasure. Later, when they start dividing the treasure, Ben notices Lucy keeping the most valuable ones for herself. He doesn't agree with this and stops her from taking that valuable treasure, because he also knows how rare and powerful it is. Lucy gets annoyed and says, if I hadn't taught you how to use the stone, you wouldn't have been able to get these treasures. To which Ben responds, what if I never had the stone in the first place? Before Ben can say anything more, Lucy suddenly notices a group of people coming toward them. It turns out they are the original owners of the treasures they stole. Taking advantage of the situation, Lucy tricks Ben, grabs the most valuable treasure, and escapes. Ben is left confused. Why did she leave everything else behind and take only that one item? Just then, the group of people reaches him and start shouting, "How dare you steal from us? That girl isn't here to help you now. You have no chance to escape." Hearing this, Ben gets ready to fight. He attacks, but one of them creates a strong shield and blocks it. A beast among them smirks and says, "We're all stronger than you. You haven't even reached the level of spirit transformation that we have. There's no way you can defeat us." Ben attacks again, but they block it easily. Their strength is overwhelming. Realizing he's at a disadvantage, Ben uses his full power, but they counter it with their own power. Then he starts to feel exhausted. Just then, Rex arrives. Ben sees an opportunity and shouts, "Attack them, Rex. Take this treasure as advance payment, and I'll give you even more." The group immediately assumes Rex was also part of them, and they all turn their attacks on him. Taking this chance, Ben spreads his golden wings and escapes. Rex, furious, chases Ben using his dragon spirit, but Ben is too fast for him. Later, they all notice a glowing mountain in the distance. They wonder, was it Ben who triggered it? Meanwhile, in another place, Vilgax and his master walk through a jungle. Vilgax suddenly attacks his master, knowing that if he wins, his master will have to open the secret gate as promised. But his master easily blocks his attack. Then he calmly says, "You can't achieve your goals by attacking others unfairly." Vilgax smirks and says, "Maybe, but if hurting someone helps me reach my goal, then I'll do it." He attacks again, but his master dodges. His master says, "I have never harmed anyone to achieve my dreams. That is why no one can truly harm me." Vilgax doesn't agree and attacks again, but his master escapes once more. Seeing his master remain unharmed, Vilgax finally lowers his head and says, "You're right, master. I won't do such things again." Back in the cave, Ben starts meditating, realizing that he needs to become stronger. The cave is full of powerful energy, making it the best place for training. After finishing his meditation, he notices the glowing mountain again. He feels like it's calling him. Maybe there's treasure there. He walks toward it, but suddenly, the same group of people appear and attack him again because they also want the treasures. Ben doesn't hesitate and fights back. This time, Rex joins the battle. But unlike before, Ben is no longer weak. His training has made him much stronger. Rex shocks and uses his water technique on Ben, but Ben survives easily. Realizing that beating Ben won't be easy, Rex starts provoking him, trying to make him lose focus. Just then, Ruby arrives and says, "Ben, they brought you here on purpose." Ben glares at her and says, "Why should I believe you?" Because he still doesn't trust her. Ruby explains, "Do you remember last time when we came here? The treasure gate opened automatically when you arrived. Normally, it never opens for the last 2 years." Rex, noticing that Ruby is telling Ben too much, suddenly attacks. But this time, both Ben and Ruby fight back. After the fight, Ruby continues, "When you came to this place last time, you broke a seal. That's why now you can open the gate." Before Ben can respond, Rex attacks again, creating a massive tornado. But Ben quickly absorbs the energy releasing from that tornado, and flies toward the cave using his golden wings. As he leaves, he looks back and says, "Thanks, Ruby." Seeing Ben escape, Rex and others start chasing after him. Ruby, now determined, calls her own companions and says, "Let's go after them." Break time, with some interesting memes for you all. Comment your favorite one in comment section. When you first meet me. Later, when you get to know me. What do you call a sensitive, good-looking and caring man? A single. That one girl who always reacts on my posts. Me be like, this is our marriage certificate, sign on it. When your parents make a joke and you need money. If you've watched till here, I hope you are enjoying the video. So, please consider subscribing to our channel and let's continue. Ben and the others use a portal to reach the treasure hall. As they enter, they are amazed to see countless powerful treasures shining all around them. Suddenly, his treasure speaks to him, telling him to go to the pool. Surprised, Ben asks, "You can talk?" The treasure responds, "Yes, I can." Just then, Ruby arrives. Ben looks at her and says, "You've told me a lot of things and helped me, but that doesn't mean you'll always be my ally. Our paths are different from each other." Ben dips his fingers into the cold water. Immediately, a powerful energy rushes out, making him stare in shock. Curious, he jumps into the pool, only to freeze instantly. The water is unbearably cold, filled with thick layers of ice. Using his golden wings, Ben breaks free. Meanwhile, his talking treasure points toward another treasure hidden deep within the pool. Without wasting a single moment, Ben starts going in that direction. At the same time, Rex and others notice the powerful energy coming from the pool. They too jump in, hoping to claim the treasure for themselves. Meanwhile, Ben's treasure begins absorbing energy from another treasure. It speaks again, "I am taking its power. You need to distract them and keep them away." Ben frowns and says, "Why should I do that?" Then the treasure replies, "If you help me now, I'll help you later." Trusting its words, Ben turns to face Rex and fights him using his talking stone. Rex summons his dragon spirit and attacks, but Ben channels some of his energy into the stone and strikes back. Rex dodges and quickly grabs the treasure, trying to escape. Realizing what's happening, Ben unleashes different techniques at once to stop him. But Rex is fast and avoids every attack. In the end, Ben manages to snatch the treasure back. Just then, a new portal opens. Seeing Ben in trouble, his treasure, now full of energy, rushes to his side. Rex notices this and, without wasting time, tries to steal the treasure again. He launches another attack on Ben. At that moment, Ruby arrives to help. She fights against Rex, but drains her strength due to this and loses balance due to shock waves. Ben sees her struggling, quickly steps in, safely taking her inside the portal. Ruby looks at him with gratitude, says "Thank you, Ben," but Rex doesn't stop and follows them through the portal. Inside, they all see something shocking, a massive rock whale. Before their eyes, the whale transforms into several powerful treasures. A fierce battle begins as everyone rushes to claim them. Ben also wants the treasure. Ruby and her companion approach him, and then Ben says, "Distract them so I can grab it. We'll split it later." They agree, and the fight begins again. Ben goes after Rex and Mermaid, taking down many enemies along the way. He defeats several warriors and finally gets the one of the treasure. But as soon as he touches it, a strange force rushes into him. He feels like something is trying to take control of his body. Alarmed, Ben immediately throws the treasure away. Everyone else chases after it, but Rex stops, watching Ben carefully. Something isn't right. Why would Ben give up the treasure so easily? While Rex lost in his thoughts, that mermaid blocks his path and tries to attack him. But Rex fights back and is about to kill her, then Ben suddenly steps in and saves her. Ben shouts, "Go from here," and gets ready to face Rex again. But Rex also doesn't back down. He launches another attack, but something unexpected happens. Ben activates his level 10 heavenly transformation. Power begins rising in Ben. Suddenly, a new portal opens and he gets dragged into it. Then the entire place begins to shake and crumble. Ruby's companions rush to her and take her away as the ground collapses. But Ben, now is seen in a completely different location. He looks around, confused. He has no idea where he is. Before he can react, a group of beasts attacks him. But Ben is much stronger now. He defeats them all with ease. Just then, the spirit of a 9-headed snake appears. It launches a powerful attack, wounding Ben and sending him flying into another cave. Later, the real spirit of the rock whale appears before him. It gives Ben the true rock whale treasure, saying, "Your heart is pure. You do not have any bad intentions, so I give this to you." The spirit then tells him, "This cave holds real rock whale blood. Stay and cultivate here, it will make you even more stronger." Ben, after listening, begins meditating there. Over the next 10 days, he continues his mediation, learning a completely new technique. Though difficult to master, he pushes through. Finally, he steps out from the cave. Outside, Ruby and her friends are waiting for him. Ruby looks sad and anxious, worried that something might have happened to Ben. But then, she sees a boat approaching. Ben is on it. The moment she sees him, her face lights up with happiness. She realizes something: she has started to like Ben. Part 16 will come soon, and if you don't want to miss out, subscribe to the channel and stay tuned for more amazing parts in future. Thanks for watching.